Hey everyone, today is Thursday, the 15th of October 2020. This is The Gap, episode 538. I'm Lawrie. Joab Gilroy here. How's your week going, Joab? What's going on?
Oh, yeah.
Anything exciting?
Some stuff's happening.
What's happening?
Basketball's finished.
It has,
for the season.
yes.
And we are the fucking champions. And by we, I mean the team we follow.
I follow a team. You're on bandwagon. Still trailing
I follow
behind.
a player. I follow a player, and without that player, your shithole team would have continued to languish in the same fucking obscurity that they did for the last 10 years, the entire decade. But talk shit, please. Like the best thing you ever did for the Lakers was get me on board, basically. And by me, I mean LeBron James. But it was the last game wasn't very close, but the rest of it was closer than it should have been.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty upsetting.
I think when they got to two wins, I was like, this is a bit too close to me.
Won game 6. I don't think I could have watched game 7.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to handle it. Like, oh my lord, I'd be full tilt. I'd be full tilt. They'd be playing today, wouldn't it? Or would it have been yesterday?
I don't know yesterday.
Yeah.
I think they were. Oh, I'm not sure. They were taking a day off.
But yeah, I would have fucking tilted my tits off. Oh my god, I could not have handled game 7. Like it'd just feel like the reverse 3-1 sweep was too inevitable. It'd have to happen like that at that point. But no, they won 4-2. And the last game was a fucking blowout. It was garbage time by fucking the second half.
Well,
probably it's how it should have been the entire fucking series. After game 1, because game 1 was pretty much the same. But
they had like 50 points going into the fourth quarter, and I was like, this game's done. Like you can't do anything. You literally need to score like fucking 50 points in the fourth quarter just to keep up.
Even the classic Lakers collapse, the Lakers pissing away yet another fucking giant lead. Even that, they hadn't pissed away that large a lead. They did their best.
It wasn't a lot. It was like 10 points or something by the end, because then garbage time kicked in.
By the end, but it was like 30 at one point, or 29 or something at one point. Like it was a big lead.
Yeah, and I think it got down to about 20, and then at the end of it was about 15 or something.
LeBron stayed in so he could secure his triple-double and lock in Finals MVP.
Yeah.
And it would have been close.
No,
it would have been a bit close.
Between who? Him and Dwight Howard hitting that 3-pointer.
Oh my god, what a champion. That was it. That was a long 3 too. Like,
yeah, it was nearly the logo. Shit. He's just like, fuck it. I'm gonna jack it off.
That's some Curry shit. Yep.
Yeah, I think our best 3-pointers were him and Rondo for the playoffs.
I did see a stat that Dwight Howard is now one of only 2 players to have played 40 minutes and gotten 100% from the 3-point line.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other one's Hakeem. But yeah, gold.
Anyway,
I
think the next thing is just to figure out when's the next season starting. What is going on with that? Because that'll be the one that I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
I think I saw an ESPN article hinting at like a Christmas Day start, but that's crazy, right?
That's what Adam Silver was saying, but he's now sort of leaning towards an early January start.
Right.
Yeah, I just don't know what they do here. Like, do they? Because obviously, I don't think they can do the bubble again for the whole season.
They can't do an entire season of the bubble.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, evidently the Lakers got through it pretty well because they got fucking Jared Dudley and fucking JaVale McGee being fucking clowns and keeping everyone's spirits high. And apparently LeBron had a wine cellar.
Yeah.
In the like he just took over a wine cellar. Like, but yeah, not everyone's got that. I mean, could you imagine the Nets in the bubble? Right? Fucking Kyrie and KD seem all chummy now, right? But
2 weeks. Give him 2 weeks.
could you imagine even fucking 24 hours in the bubble with Kyrie spouting whatever fucking garbage he's fucking landed on that fucking day? Yeah, he's like fucking scrolled through Facebook and seen some fucking tangential shit. He's like, oh yeah, Shungite. Yeah, nah, I need a lot of Shungite for my fucking hotel room because I saw that on the internet and I'm flat earther now and blah, 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 blah. But he'll spruce it up with a bunch of fucking $10 words to fucking make it seem like he's smart. He says so little in so many words. And I fully understand the irony of me saying that because holy shit, that man yaps. He just fucking, like, I've been watching his fucking streams, his live streams, and the man just fucking dribbles shit. And
he's
like, if I'm saying
he's one of the best.
He's one of the best dribblers. But if I'm saying someone dribbles like dribbles shit, like holy shit, you know it's got to be bad.
It's bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what happens with the like what they do if it's like a limited people coming or it's just like no crowds at all and they just kind of go from stadium to stadium, like if it goes back to normal regular regular playing games, but there's just no crowds. I think that's what they probably go to at this stage, unless something drastically happens, and I don't think it will. So I think at least another year of this at least, so I don't see it changing.
How many basketball courts are there in New Zealand?
I don't know.
Now, there's an idea.
Just build a bunch of them.
Move the entire fucking NBA to New Zealand. Right. And then I will move to New Zealand. And we'll see who's fucking smart then, Luke. You fucking... Oh, I went to 16 Golden State games. Fucking see who's smart then. I'll fly. I'll just fly over for a fucking game. I'll just be like, yeah, hey, I just popped a jet to go catch a Lakers game. Luke, what did you do? And you'll be like, nothing. I stayed.
You're going to take a 7-hour plane ride?
It's not 7 hours.
How far is it?
It's not even close to 7 hours. It's like 3 hours.
No, it's not.
3 hours tops.
You are crazy.
Get the fuck out of here. Okay, that's it. Now I got to fucking Google some shit. Sydney to Auckland flight time. Oh, it come up before I even 3 hours and 5 minutes.
Yeah, fucking but what about back? You're going to spend 7 hours flying every day.
Still not 7 hours. Still not 7 hours.
You got to go through the airports. That's an hour each time.
It's like, if that. You know, it's Sydney Airport. Nobody's going.
It's more like 9 hours at this stage, so it's 9 hours for a basketball game.
Yeah,
plus the basketball game.
For basketball. Plus the basketball. Yeah, of course. Or maybe I'd have to stay over.
Yeah.
In New Zealand. All right, fair enough. Apparently, there's whiskey distilleries in New Zealand. I didn't know this. I gotta go find one. Seems like they'd be onto some shit. They got that Scottish weather. You know, they might work.
Rain clouds.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, that's our video game podcast. Thanks for listening.
We're less than a month out at this stage till 2 new consoles. Are you excited? Where are you at in terms of hype levels, or what are you thinking?
I'm trying to stay level. I've got my pre-order for my PlayStation locked in. I may have sorted out something for the Xbox. Like there's hype building, but if I've learned anything over my long life, it's that nothing has ever, like, I don't count on anything having happened until it's in my fucking hands.
Right. Especially for this year.
And especially this year. Kleb was saying that he was talking to the guys at EB, and they reckon they're going to send out an email about where you are in the queue for your PlayStation.
So this already happened. This happened yesterday.
I didn't get a fucking email, so I have some concerns about that. Okay. I'm mildly worried because it seems like I should have received said email, but nothing came through. So yeah, that has me worried. I didn't get a text either. I didn't get shit. And if that didn't happen, then I wonder how fucked I am on that front, because I'm gonna have to fucking sort something else out in that case. You know?
Yeah. And, so I was reading that last night that a bunch of people got notifications from EB saying that they'd been moved up in the queue from post launch to launch day, and it seemed like so a bunch of the Australian gaming sites had said like that it seemed like more people than not got this email. Like a lot of people were getting emails. So yeah, that makes sense that you would have not gotten one.
Why does it make sense that I would have not gotten one?
I mean, you're on that streak this year, just not getting anything. So.
That is true. It has been working out. Do you know what I really like is the fucking decision to include one of those fucking mark all the fucking traffic lights when you try to log in on EB Games. Like, how do I opt out of that shit forever? That all that stuff is doing is training like robots. I joke, right? I make jokes about how when the robot uprising occurs, I want them to recognize me as a firm enemy and then kill me quickly. Right? I make jokes about this, but that is my genuine personal philosophy. Because A, we will not win against the robots. We will 100% lose. B, like, it's gonna happen eventually. That's how humanity loses. It's too narratively tight an idea, right? So I don't want to be complicit in training the robots that will eventually murder me. Right? Is that so much to ask? I don't think it is.
If that bad Terminator series has told us anything, it's that the robots will just keep on coming.
They'll just keep on coming, exactly.
Right?
You're not
going to take my bait?
The bad Terminator series. You need to explain yourself on this one. Are you talking about... What are you talking about here?
Are there more good Terminator films at this stage than there are bad ones?
So now the Terminator franchise is bad? Like, in general?
Yeah. Like the Alien franchise. How many good Alien films are there?
Remember how I was like, I'm going to get cancelled because I don't like ska music? Right? This is your ska music, and this is so much fucking worse. Are you fucking crazy? What about Predator?
There's been one bad one, which is the last one they made.
One?
That was half bad. Yeah.
What about Alien vs. Predator? What about Alien vs.
No,
Predator?
that's an Alien fault because it says Alien in the title first. It's part of the Alien series.
Alien : vs. Predator. Is that your pitch?
Yeah. The Predator is actually probably the best part of those films, except for the part where she teams up in the first one with him and they're like holding hands and running off down the ice. That's stupid. That is dumb.
Oh my god, the one with the fucking Antarctic fucking pyramid or whatever the shit.
Yeah, that one.
Arctic pyramid, whatever. Oh my god, that movie is so bad. Anyway, so your theory is, all right. What about The Thing?
How many of those are there? Isn't there just two?
Two?
I don't remember the second one, the prequel.
One of them is awful.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
it's pretty 50-50.
That's 50-50. Terminator, on the other hand, that last one was very. That was like it tried to make.
Lopsided.
Not only did it try to like delete a bunch of the other films, but it also made the second film worse by having it connected. So I don't know. Like at this stage, I think
it made the second film worse.
Yeah.
Can't it just not exist? Can't you just imagine it doesn't exist?
Well, that's what he tried to do with 4 and 5, right? 3, 4, and 5. Or 3, 4. I don't even know at this stage.
You as a viewer. Can't you as a viewer just pretend?
No, because they keep making them, so.
Right. And you're forced to watch them.
Yep, pretty much.
You have no choice but to watch them. Yeah. Fair enough. Okay. The bad Terminator series. Yeah, okay. Shit.
I didn't say awful. It's like, it's not an average. I don't think it's an average series anymore. It's gone below that. It's now in the bad scale, right? First 2 are good, and then it starts declining from there.
I was very careful not to say anything there, so when people clip it out, right, my voice doesn't like get caught up when they're using this like in their case against you.
Yeah.
My voice won't be included in any of it, so I'll be in the clear, ideally. Anyway, I don't want to help the robots. And robots, when you're listening to this, I don't know, 4 years from now, I hate you and come at me, bro. Like, just see what happens. Okay, I got microwaves. Okay, not. I mean, those boxes that cook food. I've got multiple boxes that cook food. I'm not saying I can shoot microwaves.
Right.
I'm not a microwave. Hey, did you know what I learned this week? You know the bowels?
The what?
You know your bowels? Your bowels.
Okay, yep. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking about like a band or something. The Bowels. Have you heard of them?
The bowels. Yeah. They do shit music. So, you know the bowels, your bowels, right?
Sure.
Do you know you've got 2 bowels? You've got like a large bowel and a small bowel. Your intestines are your bowels. Did you know this?
Okay.
I didn't know this. Did you know this?
No, but I don't really. It's not something I look up.
I didn't look it up either. I was just blown away. I always thought like, oh yeah, you've got like a bowel obstruction, right? And that would be an obstruction in your bowels, right? And when they say bowels, I was sort of thinking, right, it was one of those like words that just naturally has an S on the end. But no, it's a plural. They're talking about multiple bowels. You've got fucking multiple bowels. It's like stomachs, right? Like if you were like, oh yeah, in your stomachs, and you were like, how many? Am I a cow? How many fucking stomachs do I have? Right? Turns out, I only have one stomach, but I've got multiple bowels.
Is this your subtle way of telling us you had a bowel obstruction? Like, did something get caught up there? Is this what's going on?
No, that was just a fucking example. But anyway, now we know way too much about the inner workings of my bowels. Plural. Yeah.
Do you think that Space Jam 3 will be about LeBron versus the space robots?
Space robots. We don't even know what Space Jam 2 is going to be about.
It's probably monsters again, right? But it's monsters, some sort of monsters thing, cartoon monsters. But these Space Jam 3 is the uprise of the robots.
The rise of the robots.
And they he has to battle them to save the planet.
I would watch it.
Yeah.
At what point are there like is the Space Jam series good?
Hasn't there only been one?
Yeah, but if the second one's good,
it's going to be out there with the John Wick series.
It's a good series.
Just constant good.
You're just like the good Space Jam series.
Yeah.
Have you revisited Space Jam 1?
Not in a while, I feel like. But it can't be bad.
It can't be. Oh, it can be. It's pretty bad. Anyway, it's not like John Wick, which Great.
Yeah.
Good. Great.
No, it's like awesome.
Yeah. Awesome.
Pretty great.
Good.
Awesome.
All right. Video games?
Yeah. All right, let's do it. Not a lot here. It's the quiet period before the things get hectic in the next couple of weeks, which judging by emails, it is about to get really hectic. So
yes,
let's kick things off with Genshin Impact, which we talked about last week. Did you get a chance to play any more of this at all?
Yeah, I installed it on my PC at your recommendation.
That was my recommendation. I just didn't realize you were playing it on a phone. I didn't know it was a phone thing.
You said, Joab, you fucking idiot. Why are you playing it on your phone? That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It does seem dumb.
Blah, 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 blah. And then, hang on. Speaking of things you've said, have you eaten spaghetti Skittles yet?
Yeah, it happened already. Don't remember.
Where's the fucking video? Where's the video?
You'll have to go watch it. You were here.
Where is it?
What are you talking about? You've had a stroke. What is going on?
Now I'm being gaslit on a podcast of all the things that happened when on this the week of my bowel obstruction. Where's the spaghetti Skittles? Like,
it already happened.
Where?
Remember we resolved the issue with the ice cream and the burrito last week? No?
Oh, it's in.
You've had heat stroke or something.
That's nothing. Everyone keeps asking, where's the spaghetti Skittles?
Who is asking?
That's what they're all asking.
You sound like Donald Trump. Everybody's telling me.
I sound like Donald Trump? How fucking dare you? You're literally standing there telling me a lie and I sound like Donald Trump. This is fucking insane. Next week, everybody, write a question. Write in. Ask him where the spaghetti Skittles video is. We all want to see it. The world wants to know. Anyway, so Genshin Impact. I installed it on my PC against my my best wishes. I've uninstalled it since. I don't understand what people see in this game. I played it for, I don't know, fucking 5 hours and I don't get it. I just don't get it, man. Like, there's some cool stuff going on, but it's largely not something I want to play at all. It's obviously not for me. If I were, like, people are like, oh yeah, it's, you know, it's free to play Legend of Zelda. It's not. It's fucking absolutely not. It's Legend of Zelda in the sense that fucking you can climb.
Yeah. It's got similar art style.
And it's vaguely similar unless you look at any of the characters.
Yeah.
Which are all the most generic fucking anime characters you've ever fucking seen.
But Genshin Impact with better combat, it's got better story. So yeah, you're right. It's not like
a better story.
it's got a coherent story, I guess.
I was like, oh yeah, fucking. The one thing I thought was missing from Zelda was fucking lengthy cutscenes where I can't skip them and I do nothing. Do you know what I did through every fucking cutscene? I alt-tabbed. Do you know what I did after the first one? Continue to play fucking sound.
I think you can skip them. I've been skipping.
Muted Genshin Impact, and then I would just fucking alt-tab, and I'd do other things. And then I'd alt-tab back eventually, and then whatever dumb shit they were talking about. Oh, I'm a bard player. Oh, I'm the greatest bard player of all time. That's that fucking green guy that apparently you have to have in your party because otherwise you can't do any in-game content. I'm like, oh, well, I'm out then. That dude's the worst. Everyone in this fucking game's the worst. Every single person is the fuck. Paimon doesn't like that. Paimon speaks like Elmo. Fuck off. Like, holy shit. And she's just one of the fucking characters, but she's always there. Like, always. Oh, holy fuck. She never shuts up. And everyone oh, like fucking someone does a flip and is like, oh, I shoot my bow and arrow. Yeah, I'll protect you before you go on this bridge. And I'm like, I don't need any fucking protection. It's a bridge. I can walk across the bridge, lady. I just fought a fucking dragon. If anything, I should be protecting you. You should beg me to fucking protect you. And everyone in this goddamn city should beg me to protect them. It is genuinely like they played Breath of the Wild and they were like, wow, isn't Zelda's voice grating? Let's do that with everyone. Let's make everyone's voice the worst.
Did he talk?
And that's what they did. Who?
Did he talk?
Who?
Oh, sorry, you're talking about Zelda.
Luke confused Link and Zelda.
Yeah, because there was voice acting in Legend of Zelda, right? But it wasn't like a lot of it was text based, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was pretty much just a cutscene. Yeah.
Link, you must rescue me from
Ganon. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. The worst.
Whereas this
and
is
it sounded like it was phoned in, like literally recorded over a phone in Zelda. At least in this one, they got them into a professional voice, like professional studio to record the worst voice acting I've ever heard in my life. So that's an upside
from some pretty notable names. I feel like I think
what was even better.
Yuri was maybe in there as
separately turn off. There's like in the audio settings, you can turn off the voice volume. Like you can just turn it off. But sometimes it just randomly doesn't work. Like you'll still just randomly hear some motherfucker talking in some terrible fucking voice. You know, you'll be just like walking along and it'll be like, Payman doesn't like that. And then you're like, excuse me? What? And then you look at the text, because most of the time I just ignore the text. You look down at the text and it's like they're having a whole conversation. You're like, oh, right, okay, fair enough. Cool. Great. So anyway, voice acting, the worst. And there's loads of it. And the stories, oh my God. No, I don't care. I just don't care. Please let me skip when I don't care. I don't care about it in Zelda. I don't care about it in this. The good thing about Zelda was that the gameplay made up for the fucking terrible story. The bad thing in this is that the gameplay doesn't make up for this. Yes, the combat is significantly better, and I really like combining elements in clever ways to kill things that are like 8 levels higher than me. But that's it. That's the only interesting part. Otherwise, everything you do is sort of just the same thing over and over and over again.
Did you get past level 10 or whatever it is? Like or is it 15?
Adventure rank 10?
Yeah. What happens after that?
I got to adventure rank 10, and I had to go back into the city to go to the knights to talk about something, and then it was like, oh, chase after this green guy, and then I chased after the green guy, and he was playing the harp. I'm like, Alt F4, uninstall. I'm not playing this fucking game anymore. I've spent the last half an hour running around this fucking city from cutscene to cutscene, not doing anything I enjoy. So, peace. I'm outie. Yeah. Yeah. That's about it.
The thing that I find really weird about the game is that it's very hand-holdy at the start. Like, as it's introducing all of the mechanics to you, like learning combat and how the elements sort of interact with each other, and then learning how to cook, and it takes you through like different characters you can interact with. Like, this is a shopkeeper over here, and that sort of thing. And then all of a sudden it's like you're basically running around by yourself, and then it just throws you to like a fucking team of people. And in combat you can run around with 4 people at a time, but it doesn't give you 4 people. It gives you like 9. Like in any other RPG or whatever, like they sort of slow that in. Like it's like you're running around by yourself, and then someone else joins your party, the second person, and you start working with them together, and then the third one comes along, and then the fourth one. This one is just like, here's 9 fucking people. good luck.
Yeah.
And it doesn't explain like any of the way that these characters interact with each other, or that like like why you should be using them. You kind of you kind of just pick them because I don't know, you want to use them. Each one has their own like elemental effects that they use in combat, and then it like guides you to these like puzzle rooms, and that's when you start switching between characters and learning like this is when you should use fire, or here's a a puddle of water, and in between there's enemies, and you should use these abilities in this water, and that'll cause them to do this. So you can electrocute them, and it does like a chain lightning effect. And that's when it starts teaching you all that stuff. But it's just so like, it's so quick. It's just like you're in like a fucking like the game starts off and you're in like a little like in a scooter, or you're at walking pace, and like the next one should be like, all right, we're getting on the scooter now, and off we go, and then like the scooter's got training wheels, and then after that you're in like a fucking jet engine, and that's when it just takes off. Like there's no slow progression, and you just all of a sudden get overwhelmed because you've got all these characters now, and it's like, all right, you need to level them up, and it's giving you books, and I've got like, I don't know, 120 books, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with all these books. Like all of a sudden my character who's a level 4, do I level him to level 20? Like off the bat? Like why should I be doing that? And you're not really sure if you should or if you shouldn't, and who you should be leveling up, or like should I be using any of this stuff? It just doesn't explain any of that at all. It feels like the thing where you need to go read a Wikipedia page before you play this game, or something like that, because half of the tutorial is kind of missing. I think that's where it really started to fall apart for me. Like there's some good stuff going on along at the start of that game, where it's introducing the way the combat works, and how you come across something and you have to use a special effect to try and deal with that, to lower its shields, and then you can switch to another character, and then expose them to like a fire element and set them on fire, and then switch them across to like a wind character and then whisk them up into the air. And so like switching between all your characters and engaging in the combat is interesting. But then there's all this weird like mobile leveling up systems. I mean like mobile game leveling up systems that are in the game. There's just tons of different currencies and different items, and you just get so overwhelmed so quickly. We like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing at this stage, because it's just everywhere. Like, why have I got, as someone who's played like Empires and Puzzles, like that is my mobile game, and I understand the concept of getting multiples of the same cards and then feeding that card to make it stronger, and using items to level up. Like, I get that. Like, I understand that, but the game does such a poor job of explaining that system to you that it kind of just makes you think that, oh, you should know this because, and this could be just a culture thing, is because it's a game out of a different culture to us, and so we don't really have that much exposure to it. Like it's just a thing you should know, right? But for us, it's not really like that. Like it's not ingrained in our gaming culture. And so that's where I think the disconnect is in terms of like guiding players on how to actually play this game properly. And so you go into combat situations and you're like, should I be leveling up, or should I just be like attacking things and getting experience? Or should I even be leveling it up because I'll get better characters later? You just don't really know what you should be doing at a certain point in that game. And just kind of like, oh, like it takes the chains off. It's like, go run around and see what happens. And you can do that. And I'm sure it seems like there's lots of people that are having fun with it. Like it's getting really good reviews around the place. And I don't know if that's because people have spent a lot of time in it and it just at some stage really clicks, or if I just don't know. And so I think that the first initial, I've only played it for like 5 or 6 hours or so. It's just really strange.
So where did you get up to?
I'm about to hit 10, or I just hit 10.
Have you done, there's a chest behind 3 domed force fields?
No.
Have you found and unlocked that chest?
I don't think so.
It was probably the most fun I had unlocking that. You have to go to 3 different camps, and I obviously did them in the wrong order. But they've got like, in my case, it was a gradual decline in challenge, but it's supposed to. I think it's supposed to like pit you against a gradually increasing level of difficulty as you fight your way to unlock these force fields. That's probably the most fun I had. Just required, I think, some some good knowledge of the systems, the combat systems, and like I said, I think the combat is fun and it works well. But yeah, holy shit, man! I don't care about anything else outside of the combat in that game, and it reminds me a lot of Ghost Recon, Wildlands, or Breakpoint.
Right.
I think it taps into similar like concepts, very similar concepts. It's far more like Ghost Recon Breakpoint than it is like Legend of Zelda, in my opinion. Superficial shit aside, right? And it is only very superficially similar to Breath of the Wild. It is far more similar to Breakpoint because you are moving from camp to camp that have levels. There are zones that you shouldn't go to because you aren't high enough level to compete. You've got like a party with different abilities, and you are effectively like chasing loot, and that is Breakpoint to a T, and that is Genshin Impact. Absolutely. I mean, once you get through the 3 domes, I looked it up afterwards. The same thing will be in that chest every single time. Like you'll get the same thing out of that chest that I got out of that chest. So it's like these are like guaranteed things. I think there's an important distinction there. I think there's an important distinction between the nature of a game like Breath of the Wild, where ostensibly you could go anywhere and do anything at any time. Like you could go and beat fucking Ganon right from the fucking get-go if you wanted. You'd have to beat him with all these extra fucking calamities or whatever the fuck they're called, but like you could do it. There's no reason why you couldn't, or like there's a difference between that. You couldn't do that in Breakpoint, I don't think. I mean, maybe some speedrunners will do it. Maybe some speedrunners have worked out the equivalent of Morrowind's god tier potion system or whatever the fuck, right? But I don't think so. And instead, you have to like grind. It's a game about the grind, and I've got no fucking interest in the grind. I fucking hate that shit. Like, I for me, Breath of the Wild is a game about play, right? I didn't love Breath of the Wild, and I don't think you did either, but there were parts of it. Yeah,
like what it did. Just a lot of it, I'm like, it's literally a fucking puzzle game with like an open world. Like it didn't need to, like you've got all these caves that you go into, and it's just a puzzle game at the end of the day.
Yeah, but they're fun puzzles, and like I think there's definitely something to that. The Genshin Impact, on the other hand, gates everything behind your progression, gates all these things behind that progression, whereas Breath of the Wild doesn't. Like it instead reflects your progression by leveling up the world and stuff, and that's a very important distinction to me. Yeah, but I don't see what people get out of Breakpoint either. All I got out of Breakpoint was goofing around with the lads. That's what I get out of those games. And once the goof shit stops, once I can't have fun fucking about anymore, it doesn't hold my interest. I struggle to find myself engaging with a game where the grind is everything. And that's what Genshin Impact is. That's what Breakpoint is. The vision. Like so many of these games, I don't know. I've deliberately divorced myself from those systems on purpose because I think I have a tendency to get sucked into them, to get addicted to them. But
right.
Genshin Impact lays it far too bare for me to even pretend like I can get that far in. Like the wish thing that it forces you to do, like really early on. That shit's gross. And I looked into it even more, and like to get end game party, you need to you got a pity timer at fucking 90 packs. That's your first pity timer, and your second pity timer ostensibly, but like I think you need like 10 of the same character to level them up. So ostensibly you need 1,800 packs to level one character up all the fucking way.
Mm.
And I think when I quit, I had like fucking 35 or something.
How do you get other characters? Do you know?
Through that wish thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like I said, it just fucking like throws everything at you all at once, and it just did not sink into my brain as to what what I should be doing or how any of this stuff sort of works.
It is very much assumed knowledge.
Hmm.
And yeah, I no time for it. Absolutely no time. Yeah.
Right. All right.
So I have deleted it from my phone and my computer. Not that I could link the two fucking anyway. Apparently, yeah, it seems like I logged in on my phone on my Gmail account or something, and so I couldn't play. I had different accounts going or some shit. So I'm like, well, whatever. Fuck it.
That's weird. All right, let's move on to the next game we've got here, which is the Solitaire Conspiracy.
Sure.
This is a brand new game from Mike Bethel, who we've talked about some of his games before in here. I think the last one was it John Wick Hex? I think the last one we talked about. This one is I think they're calling it, or he's called it like a Bethel short. It's it's probably it's been a little while since John Wick Hex. That was last year. So this is probably like a very short, small project that he's been working on. Basic idea is that it is a form of solitaire, the card game. So where you are with a deck of cards, you're aligning the suits in order from ace to king, and trying to make a straight deck. And the way this game is formulated is the spin on it is you've got sort of like 3 columns in the game. The middle column is where you're aligning all of these suits from ace to king, and there's 4 rows that go down, and then on each side of that center column is a row, and that's where all the cards are sitting, and you're sort of flicking through those cards to try and pull out like the cards in order from being like I need to get the ace first, and the 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to the face cards. And the little twisty thing that it's got here is that a bunch of the your face cards, like your Jack, Queen, and Kings, have special abilities because you are part of like this spy organization. And so as you're playing the game, you're unlocking these different types of spies, and they have different types of abilities that you're able to use as you progress further and further into the game. And so, for instance, you might start off with like 1 or 2 sort of, I think it's 1 ability you start off with. And as you progress, there's like 6 or 7 different spy sort of organizations. And it could be something like when you put this card on top of this row, it'll just explode that row, and the cards in that row will be scattered amongst randomly the other rows. And so you end up like trying to use these abilities in order to get to cards that are sometimes like below where you can get to. There could be something blocking it in its way. So the way that Solitaire works is you can only put a card that is like lower than it on top of the existing cards that's on top. And so this one also doesn't matter if it is different. There's no like suit colors or anything like that in terms of in Solitaire, I guess, on your computer that people are familiar with, you can't put like two black cards on top of each other, right? As far as I'm aware, I think that's how it used to work.
It's got to alternate. Red,
between black and red. Yeah, this is this has different colors, but it's more associated with the spy organization and then how you have to order them. It doesn't matter actually on the game board. Like
there are versions of Solitaire where
yeah. So it doesn't. The colors don't really matter. So as long as there is a number there, say for instance a 6, anything below a 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 can go on top of that card. And so that's where these special abilities sort of come in, because you're moving cards around the sort of the playing field and trying to get to another card lower in the deck to try and be like, all right, now I move that into the middle pile. But you end up with situations where you start getting blocked of like, oh, there's a really high like queen here or a jack or a king being the highest, and you can't get below that card because the king is the highest card and you can't put anything to try and get past it, and so you end up using those cards to try and blow up the deck and move things around and shuffle them, which can sometimes be very interesting because not all the cards are, I guess, beneficial to you. Sometimes it'll be like it might be like, I'll put the face card on this deck and it'll basically look at the card that you're putting it on and say I'll just, because they've all got weird names. So say it's like a red deck, it'll find like it could be like a red 7, but maybe you need a red 2 in the middle column. And so that special power that it's got, it will look for that red 2 and pull it out of wherever it is and just slap it next to it, for instance. And that's a good card. Like, you want that. That's a good thing that you kind of like, I can use that. But other times it'll be like, all right, if you put this face card down, it'll rearrange the deck so that all the low cards are on the bottom and all the high cards are on top. And that kind of ends up blocking you in certain situations because like, oh damn, like I really need the lower cards to try and start putting them into the middle, but it's kind of moved it to the bottom of the deck. And so now I've got to work my way through all these other cards to try and get to that. And that just means moving things around, and sometimes you end up getting blocked. It's a really cool idea, and once you get the hang of how it works, it's really interesting. But I think where it falls apart is that it feels like it's supposed to be a puzzle game in terms of you're earning experience and leveling up, and it's giving you different challenges. And as you progress through the level, that's when you start unlocking these different types of organizations that have variations of abilities. But the progress doesn't really fit in terms of like making it more difficult. It's kind of just unlocking more abilities, if you know what I mean. Like it's not like it's throwing you a puzzle, like a specific layout, and being like, try and solve this. It's just throwing you a new game with those cards in it, and it's like, those special cards, like try and fix this. And so if you have a bad start, you can kind of just press reset and it'll reset the board, and you'll just get a randomly generated board back, and it might be better for you. Like, now my aces are higher up in the towards the top, and so it's easier for me to get to, as opposed to them being somewhere on the bottom on one of my rows, and it's gonna take me a bit of moving around to try and get them, or maybe it'll be blocked by a face card or something like that. And so the challenge kind of disappears, because if you feel like, I'm not doing too well, like 15 turns in, you can kind of just press reset until you get like a good layout. You're like, those aces are pretty high up, so I'm not going to have a problem getting them. And that's kind of what the game is, like going each time you play it, each time you start a new game. It's like you're unlocking different spy organizations, but it's not really getting more challenging because it's not a set puzzle; it's just randomly generated to you, and that's where it's kind of lost me a little bit. Like I enjoy the gameplay mechanics of this solitaire idea, um, but because it's not necessarily like a puzzle, like a set puzzle or a set series of puzzles, like try and figure this out using these specific cards, it's more of just like a just see how you go. Like good luck. And so that the challenge isn't really there because it feels like most of the time I can solve it in the one go, um, which is it's a bit disappointing. There are a couple of different modes in there that you can play. There's like a leaderboard, like a rush mode, where every time you solve cards and work your way through a puzzle, it adds time to your countdown. And so the idea is to keep adding more time to your counter and not get to zero. And once your countdown hits zero, then the game is over. And so that it's like a wave-based mode where it just keeps on resetting and adding more cards, I guess, and trying to make it more difficult. So you can actually go in and do that. And there is another mode in there that I have not checked out. I think it's more just like a skirmish, where you can just select the organizations you want to play with and just go in and do it. But that's just not like, if I wanted to do that, I could go play Solitaire. I'd probably find that more challenging, to be honest, than this. So yeah, like I'm enjoying it, but I just wish it was more like, I wish it was more puzzle based in terms of like just giving you something they designed and being like, these are the specific organizations that you need to use, and there's a specific way to solve this puzzle and try and figure it out, as opposed to just it's just a randomly generated deck and then good luck. Like if you don't win it in a certain amount of turns, like sometimes I'll have games where I'll beat it in 50 turns, and others I can do it in like 100, and I'm moving cards around, and like there's no penalty for you for moving cards around into other rows or anything like that. Like there's a countdown that says you're on row 40, you're on turn 45, and this one's 46. Like it's counting, but there's no reason for you to be like, I need to get this solved as quickly as I can in the most minimal amount of moves possible. Like it just doesn't matter. And so you end up just grabbing cards and like switching them between rows, which is, it's a cool way of solving a riddle, but there's no challenge to it because you're playing like single based solitaire. It's not like when you play solitaire on a PC and you're like switching through threes and like you can see a card in there, but you can't really get to it because it's in between another one. Like if you're playing a single solitaire turn, then you're eventually going to get that card. And that's kind of what this feels like, because you can see all the cards there and you're moving cards one at a time. And so, yeah, it's just a weird way of, I don't know, presenting challenges to people by having it be random. I don't know, that's just kind of,
I think it must like reduce the resource load, right? Like actually constructing puzzles would be significantly more challenging from a developmental standpoint than simply creating a robust enough RNG system, or just a proper RNG system that auto creates a bunch of challenges.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, the balancing mechanism there is to allow players to just restart whenever they want. Like I've been playing a game that's under embargo, that where RNG actually plays a pretty big factor in it, and so I've been contemplating the influence RNG has on video games quite a lot, because I think it's often a pretty big deal in games, and I think it's pretty interesting to like deep dive into our personal relationships with RNG. Like my relationship with RNG is not necessarily the same as your relationship with RNG, and yeah, like how you interpret those things and how you overcome those things, I think shapes a lot of who we are as players.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think it'd be complicated to make a solitaire game that wasn't largely RNG, right? Like, it probably only roped you in the first place because of the randomness.
Well, I mean, it pulled me in because of the solitaire game I know, and also because of the developer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if it could have benefited from like a seeding based creation mode or something like that, where people could share their own like
Seeds would be
puzzles.
seeds would be a really good way to get around,
Yeah,
like, literally your problem with it, and they could even use that as a crowd generated way to create um, like actual puzzle challenges and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
and even then, I feel like it'd need to have maybe um, more of these spy organizations that not necessarily give you benefits. Because I think that the ones that sort of screw you over are more interesting as opposed to the one where I'm like, oh, I need this red too. Like, where is it? Oh, it's over there. Okay, well, if I use this card, I can basically just put it down on that pile and it'll just like pull it out for me. And it's that
yeah,
card is like 6 rows down. Like, that'd be a pain for me to do. Like, that just seems a bit too easy. Whereas there's cards in there that'll be like, oh, if you put this on top of this colored deck, it'll get the next card you need and put it all the way at the bottom. Like, that's a bad card that you don't want. But the
yeah,
game presents that to you sometimes where like you've got to do something with it. You need to put it somewhere. And so you end up having to think about where you should be putting it. Or do
yeah,
you try and clear a row somewhere so that you can move this face card down to that cleared row and it won't trigger because there's nothing below it. And so like there's some gameplay sort of strategy there. But I think having the cards that give you negative effects or negative consequences is sort of more, can sometimes be a bit interesting because it's like, oh, you need to think about where you're putting this and if it's going to screw you over or if it's going to just ruin the game for you. So yeah, it'd be interesting to have more of those types of games in there. And just, I think the puzzles, allowing people to share puzzles or create puzzles or something like that to try and solve the.
yeah.
But I mean, there's that like they've got that. What was I talking about? Like rush mode. It's called Countdown, I think. But again, that's not really like, it's not a as far as I'm aware, it's not like a seeded based puzzle. It's kind of just go like a wave based randomly and try and see how long you can survive, and that's it. So I don't know like what the longevity of that is. It's not like a game Monster, I'm blanking on it, Monster Train, where every day there's a new challenge and there's modifiers and that sort of thing. Like, that's where the longevity of that sort of game comes in. I just don't see that here. It's not an expensive game. I think it was like 12. I'm just checking now. It's $12. It was cheaper, but it's I think the deal expired, 12 US. And so I don't know. Like, I guess I don't know who to recommend this to. If you kind of like his indie games, or if you're a fan of different types of solitaire, check it out. It's got this FMV style story campaign that sort of plays out throughout the course of 4 hours, I'd say, somewhere around there. Um, it's it's silly. It's not. I don't think it's trying to take itself too seriously. It feels very like Command and Conquer ish.
Right.
And the main character in that is Greg Miller. So he's kind of talking to you every time you progress through a level in the game. And there's some sort of overall story there, but I don't think it's anything that's not the reason why you play this game, basically.
Yeah.
The story, like, it's just an added thing that's there. So yeah, all right. It's called The Solitaire Conspiracy. It's available on Steam. 12 US, 15 Australian. I'm gonna say,
16,
yeah, something like that. Yeah, there you go. That's it.
Cool. Let's move on to another. Well, I think this was just published by Mike Bethel. It's called Fights in Tight Spaces. There was the demo of this during the Spring Festival.
Okay.
And this is it's essentially a card game, like roguelike card game, a la Slay the Spire, but you're a secret agent who beats the shit out of people. And so each card you play is either a move or a attack, and you've got these spaces, like a grid. You get put into a grid, and you have to take out everyone or accomplish whatever the goal of the given mission is. So there's like a protect the VIP, or get the briefcase, or most of the times just beat the shit out of everyone. And it reminds me a little bit of Frozen Synapse, because things happen. You play moves and things happen. Like there's a lot of cause and effect, right? Like you play a punch card, and if that punch card kills a guy, then that might mean the guy behind him can now shoot, right? And so you need to work out the best way to progress through each level. This is classic Slay the Spire as well. Like Slay the Spire works in exactly the same way, but it reminds me more of Frozen Synapse, because obviously it's on this, it's combat focused. It's a little bit more realistic, air quotes. And yeah, it's instead of being on a 2D like side or 2D plane, right?
Yeah.
This is more on a 3D space, although there's no height. So anyway, so yeah, you've got to take a lot into account as you move through each level, and it's quite interesting. You can see the influence that that Slay the Spire has had, because it feel like after you get over, like, I guess, back to Genshin Impact, right? Like Genshin Impact, superficially you would say, oh, it's like Breath of the Wild, right? Superficially, I think you would say that Fights in Tight Spaces is like Frozen Synapse. But when you dig in a little bit deeper in Genshin Impact, it's like, oh, actually, it's a lot more like Breakpoint. And if you dig a little bit deeper, not much deeper. I mean, it's fucking pretty upfront, but the inspiration that Slay the Spire has had on this is really fucking clear. You can see it immediately. And yeah, I think it plays quite well. You have your deck of cards, you've got your moves. It's like kick or punch or like grapple to shove, and at the end of every level you've got the option to take another card. Just like in Slay the Spire, it's important. Like, one of the biggest hurdles that every player will encounter is learning when to not take a fucking card. Right? Like there is a habit for new Slay the Spire players to just take a new card every time they're offered one, and then they wonder why they get to the end of the fucking, or halfway through the second fucking tier, and they're like, none of my fucking good cards will show up. It's because you filled your deck with a bunch of shit, right? There's a lot of that in Fits. because you wind up in these situations where all of the options just garbage, right? And so you've got to fucking manage that. You learn what each level will bring. You know, you might, if you go to there's like I think it's like a med bay. If you go to the med bay, you can heal up. Or if you go to I think it's like the boxing ring, you can level up your cards. And so there's an element of that as well, like that leveling up your cards, like one of those things that happens in Slay the Spire when you go to the fucking somewhere you can do it, like random events. There's random events and you can heal yourself if you go have a sleep at the fucking campfire and all that kind of stuff. And you've got those elements exist, and you need to as a player, you need to manage going to those places and having enough money to actually do those things. You have to spend money to heal in this, and like you've got to manage all those things. I personally think I think they obviously don't want to just make a different perspective clone of Slay the Spire. But the impact that there is I think in Slay the Spire, the decision to rest or upgrade or grab the gem eventually at a campfire, I think that is important from a gameplay perspective, and it doesn't overwhelm the game with choices that involve avoiding combat altogether. Plus, you can rest for free. You can regain health for free. I think from an economy standpoint, your ability, having to pay to heal and not having any other way to get health back throughout the game, dramatically changes the balance. Right? If you consider health as a resource that you can spend, which it absolutely is in Slay the Spire, it is far more expensive to spend that health in fits than it is in Slay the Spire, because heading to a medbay is one less opportunity to get a better card. It is directly not an opportunity to upgrade any cards. It costs you money, actual money, which you then can't use to buy a card or upgrade a card or remove a card. And so and then of course you get stuck down the route that it sends you down. And so when you add all these things together, you wind up in this situation where actually losing any health at all is hideously expensive. Because to rectify that situation is to come back from it is devastating to your progress, right? Devastating to your ability. And so that in itself changes the dynamic. It makes it feel like your best option is to never get fucking hit, right? And that is complicated because I think Fights in Tight Spaces is a game where it wants you to sort of be comfortable with taking hits sometimes. Because if you don't, once I realized how economically devastating it was taking any damage at all, you can do every level almost every level without taking any fucking damage. You're at the mercy of the cards, right? Inevitably you wind up in a situation where inevitably, even though I didn't have that many fucking cards, just the luck of the draw was such that all I got in my hand were attack cards and I didn't get any move cards at all. And that is a situation where you just have to stand and cop whatever the fuck is coming. Unless you can kill whoever is attacking you, you just eat it. And that so you've got to account for the fact that you will inevitably take damage. You can't create a situation where you'll always be able to move. However, like once you do start to account for the idea that you will almost never take damage, you can finish like every fucking fight without any fucking hassle. Like it's very possible to just not take any damage. The way that each level plays out is very like what your enemy is going to do. You know when they're going to attack or how they're going to attack. If you mouse over them, it tells you the rules of how they attack. They'll move forward 3 and then strike, or they will kick and push at the same time, or they will retaliate, etc., etc. All these things. The rules are laid out very openly for you, and I would argue that by the time you realize that it's economically destructive for you to fucking take any damage, you already understand all of the enemies you're up against anyway. But so because you know all these things, it is a cinch to effectively skirt any damage. The only the downside is that each fight takes fucking ages, because you wind up in a situation where like it becomes like a Dark Souls fight, right? Where you only take shots when you're guaranteed to get out without taking any damage, right? Like that is that for Dark Souls players is one of the hurdles you need to get over. That idea that, hey, only hitting them once is going to be better than hitting them twice now and taking a little bit of damage. If you only hit them once, yeah, the fight will take twice as long, but you will actually fucking win, as opposed to hitting them twice now, using your fucking Estus flasks, and then eventually dying. That's a huge deal. In Fits, yeah, you can do that, but it is tedious, right? It's a turn-based fucking combat game. If you were allowed, if it was economically viable to take damage, then you wouldn't feel that so much. And it makes, like, at the end of every, because it's turn-based, but it's a 3D combat simulator, at the end of every fight, you can press a play button and it'll show the fights, and they look like, when you do one and you take a bit of damage, they look like fucking John Wick fights. It's fucking cool, right?
Not John Wick Hex. Because
not John Wick Hex.
That was my biggest issue with that game, is the animations were very stiff, I guess is the word I'd use.
They're stiff in this as well. I mean, like, it's you're playing kicks using cards, right? They're always going to be roughly the same. They're quite stiff, but they still look very cool when you take a punch, because it'll be like you punch, kick, and then take it, like, get punched, and then you back fist that dude and punch him, and then throw him into another guy, and like, it looks cool. And it looks cooler because you took damage. When you replay the end of a fucking level where you didn't take any damage, it is kick, kick push,
yeah,
punch, and like it's bad, right? It's so much. It
doesn't
worse.
stitch together well. Yeah.
It feels like it's the antithesis of the concept of the game, which is to construct using, a card game, these very cool fight sequences. And so, yeah, like hardcore, I think what they need to do is combine the gym and the medbay, whatever the fuck the medbay's called, I can't remember. Might be medbay, might be hospital, I don't fucking know. Whatever it's called, combine the two, the same as Slay the Spire. I understand that they're on some level, they don't want to fucking go the full aping Slay the Spire route, but there is a reason, and remove the cost for healing. Make it so you can only heal once, and remove the cost, and make it a decision that you have to make, a choice between upgrading a card or healing. And that, like, just from a pure economy standpoint, would make taking hits so much more viable. Because obviously you would want to fucking upgrade your cards. Obviously you would be able to save money without needing to hold on to some in case you need some fucking heals. But yeah, you would need to make that fucking, it is a meaningful choice for a player to make and it results in a situation where the player like can take charge of their game in a way that still plays into the, I guess, the core style that the game is going for. But other than that, I love Slay the Spire style games. You know, like I think it is one of the most, you know, when we, you know, speaking about Monster Train before, one of the, it's crazy that it's a market that is so untapped, that it is neglected as much as it is, because obviously it's complex, but on the surface it's such a simple idea. Like, it is complex to fucking build it out, but like surface level, it just makes so much sense. And Fits is such a good idea. I don't know what the fucking elevator pitch for this was, but like, if it had been fucking John Wick's Slay the Spire, right? The walls, the elevator would be plastered with cum. Like, people would be fucking on board immediately, right? Like, it just, yeah, holy shit. Yeah, how does that not exist? That's the sort of thing that Fits is. Fights in Tight Spaces is one of those things where you're like, I can't believe this hasn't existed until now. It just, like, you know, like Monster Train, I think Monster Train was an awesome idea that needed a little bit something vaguely different. I mean, I'm sure if we listen back years from now, right, or if I listen to myself as I speak, right, I can tell that my fucking pitch for a Slay the Spire clone is to literally clone Slay the Spire. I can fucking see that, right? Like, I can hear it as I say it. However, what I think I'm driving at is more the idea that you need to nail what Slay the Spire did. It's the same as like a Souls-like, right? You can't just come out with the fucking Surge and be like, yeah, we made the Surge. It's fucking Dark Souls in space, right? And then you play it and you're like, yeah, like, you've obviously played Dark Souls, but I don't know that you get Dark Souls, right? Or there was, you know, that's the broader problem with most Souls-like games, is that they play like Souls games, and yet they don't get what people love about Souls games necessarily, and people find something to love. Like, I'm not saying that the Surge is terrible and you're an idiot if you don't like it or whatever. Like, people find stuff to love in them because there's enough there, right? But if they broke down what made a Souls game fucking amazing first, and then built from there, you'd be able to do it. It would be like if you were to make spaghetti, right? And then you add Skittles, right? That's the Surge, right? It's just adding Skittles. It's like, you like spaghetti and you like Skittles, right? Look, where's spaghetti and Skittles? Where's the fucking spaghetti and Skittles? Where's spaghetti?
We were talking about this.
Yeah, well, I just reminded myself. Anyway, long story short, Fights in Tight Spaces, the demo's finished because all the demos for that period are finished. But I thought it was quite cool, and I've wishlisted it, and I'll definitely grab it when it comes out, because I'm about it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks very stylish.
Yeah.
Like
and if you like those card games, like card-based roguelikes, you will definitely like this, but I do think it needs some more work.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. And that was called Fists. What was it?
Fights in Tight Spaces. Fits.
Fits. Okay.
Fits.
Next up, we got Party Animals.
Yeah, I played a shitload of this. Party Animals is Gang Beasts, but cuter.
with
Play this
furries.
with for furries. And scalies. I played as a crocodile. Thank you very much. Or maybe a dinosaur. I think it was a dinosaur. Anyway,
Right.
yeah, it's Gang Beasts. Gang Beasts, if you never played it, before they fucked it up, was this hilarious brawling game on a 3D space where you could grab and punch and climb and throw and all these things. And the game sort of existed as this goof off simulator. Like, it was one of those things where you would bust it out and play it like when you were drinking type thing. And then they over engineered it. They fucking continued to develop it, and they developed it in ways that were just not fun. Party Animals so far isn't like that. You've got a button to punch, you've got a button to grab, you've got a button to kick, a button to headbutt, and a button to sprint, and and a button to jump. And you use various combinations of these things to beat the fuck out of everyone else in the level. And that is about all there is to it. That's all you need to know. The other thing, the one thing that they both share very much in common is that the movement in it is quite goofy, and that enhances the game so much that I can't even quite put a finger on why the goofiness of the movement is so monumental to how Party Animals works. But it is phenomenal because you wind up in these situations. Everyone's got these little arms and little legs, and so they don't have a lot of range. It's not like you're running around like fucking Street Fighters or some shit, like fucking beating the fuck out of people. You don't have a lot of range. You don't have a lot of fucking agility. Everything feels kind of goofy. And there's an element where you're you feel like you're struggling. Like, everything makes sense. Once you do the tutorial, everything you do has an internal logic to it, and it feels like it plays well. But yeah, it all just feels a little bit off. Like you're on stilts or something. Like you're running around and there's
like you'll
a
topple
lack
over at any
of
second.
balance. Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, you do things, but it doesn't necessarily. You're not filled with confidence in what you're about to do. You're not 100% sure about what's going to happen next, and it winds up being this unbelievable balancer because, yeah, you're not certain that you're going to get away with whatever it is you're trying to do. And yeah, we were playing, we had 6 people playing at one point in the Gap channel on Discord, just rolling around beating the ever-loving shit out of one another. There were only Asian servers. This was another demo on the Spring Festival. It's over now, unfortunately, but I'm definitely getting this when it comes out fully, because I had so much fucking fun. Yeah, it's one of those goofy games where you brawl with people, shit talk, and that's about it. I mean, yeah, some of the games we had were out of control. Yeah, there's 3 levels. There's a submarine level, there's a plane level, and there's a ruins level. Over time, you need to eliminate everyone, and eliminating someone on the sub level means throwing them in the ocean, eliminating them on the plane, throw them off the fucking plane, and in the ruins, you got to throw them into this gas. And yeah, there's so much going on in trying to make that happen, because you're because there's always with 6 people or 4 or 5 or 6 people, there's so many different motivations what is driving me isn't necessarily what is driving Heath or Drew, or like like I'm trying to throw Heath off fucking plane, right? But Drew, right, just Drew sees an opportunity to like kick me in the back of the fucking head with a flying leap kick, and like maybe that will take both of us out. And so I'm like, I know what I'm going to do is throw Heath off, and Heath is going to die, and that is exactly what we need, right? Because Heath's 1 point away from winning the entire level. So all I need to do is kick him, is throw him off. I've knocked him out. I've done the hard yards. I just throw him off the fucking plane. I'm standing at the fucking edge of the wing, and then fucking Drew comes flying in with his big plan to take us both out at once, and fucking yeets me straight off the plane. And somehow, because of the goofiness of the game, Heath drops straight down on top of Drew, and that's when Heath wakes up and knocks out Drew and throws him off the fucking plane. And that's it, right? It's over. Heath wins. But Drew had, I suppose, the correct idea, right? He needed to get rid of both of us, and he had an idea that would accomplish it. I had my own idea, which was, just fucking get rid of Heath. And Heath was knocked out and didn't really have any fucking ideas. He was fucked. Like, he just had to do whatever the fucking game let him do, mash wildly to wake back up. And yeah, you wind up in those sorts of situations where, yeah, it is just this giant clusterfuck of competing motivations and priorities, and it winds up being absolutely hilarious. Like, they've done a great job with the, I think the Ruins level is probably my least favorite. It's got an ill-defined end game timer. As the game progresses on the sub level, it'll just sort of dive. And so eventually, if you're not at the tippy top of the sub, where there's only room for like 2 people max and they can headbutt each other, eventually you'll just fucking the sub will go all the way under, and the level will end. On the plane level, the entire thing ices over eventually. And once it's all iced over, it's very difficult to stay on because you'll just sort of slip and slide, whatever you're trying to do. And on the Ruins level, there's this gas that will sort of grow over the platform, but it's not very easy to see where that gas is. And so you wind up, I think I know where it is, but it's very easy to accidentally run into the gas and die. And I think they need to better define that. It's also it's just not as creative an ending as the sub and the plane levels. I'd love a fucking train level, which was a Gang Beasts classic. That one fucking always cracked me up. But yeah, like, you just do your best to win. And there's, because, we're all playing on Discord, so there's that social aspect as well. I think social games have had a bit of a run lately. But yeah, there's a social aspect of, I chucked a video up on my YouTube of me pretending I was dead, and then using that to win a game. It was absolute dog shit act, but I had to do it to him. But that sort of like social gaming aspect, like, absolutely, like, from then on, it didn't matter if I was dead. Like, people literally lost games throwing me off, throwing my corpse. Like, when I was 100% dead, people would still actually go out of the way to make sure I was off the plane or off the fucking submarine. It didn't matter. They were like, no, can't trust you. Like, it worked, right? Like, if I used that one shot and failed, then yeah, like, obviously that would have been a mistake. But I used my one chance to lie to everyone about how I was dead, and it worked out pretty well. So I think it was valuable. But yeah, like, there's that social aspect, or like trying to trying to create a situation where everyone gangs up on Kleb or something, right? Because Kleb's got 2 points. He needs one more point to win the whole thing. Like, everyone just fucking target Kleb, right? And if you do that enough, right? If you do it over and over again, right? It doesn't matter. People just get, like, Kleb's just gone immediately anyway. And so it doesn't matter that I'm also on 2 points and just about to win. Everyone targets Kleb immediately. And Kleb will be yelling, hey, target Joab, kill Joab. But it doesn't matter because the trend, the first thing people do is kill Kleb. And that works out fucking phenomenally. Like, obviously, you don't want to have a player get to the fucking edge of success immediately, regardless. But yeah, there's some gamesmanship to it, which is very entertaining and works out quite well. But yeah, like, most of it is just like this is all metagaming. One of the goofiest fucking games I've played in ages, and yeah, I absolutely loved it. Yeah, I reckon you'd love it. You loved Gangs Beasts. We were playing on Asian servers, so we had like 100, 150 ping. You probably have 150-ish ping. I didn't find the ping to be that big a deal.
Sure.
I never could because of the goofiness generally. So yeah, I think it would work if you were to play across the ocean.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Does this seem like the perfect time for them, considering how big like these social games are right now? Because the date is the end of this year, right?
They should. I was saying this while we were playing. They should fucking put it out right now. Put out the demo as the full fucking game, as early access, some shit, and like start selling this game right now. Capitalize on the groundswell of like favor that it has, because if they wait until fucking end of 2020, which is the release date, all right, who fucking knows? Like, is it Epic's fucking Epic needs something. They need the next big thing, and they need to rip it off of someone. They can't just fucking make their own game. They never have, right? They stole fucking Quake. They stole fucking PUBG, and this is it. Now they'll steal Party Animals. I can't believe Party Animals isn't already their fucking game, because it is literally just a rip off of Gang Beasts. But that said, Gang Beasts diverged in idiotic ways, so why not make a good Gang Beast? It makes sense to me. Yeah, anyway. They should release it right now, in my opinion. Don't wait until the end of the year. Do it now, because in 2 weeks' time, 2.5 weeks' time, there'll be new consoles out. There'll be all sorts of fucking games. Like, the hype will have passed. Seize the fucking day. Yeah. Nice. Had a lot of fun with it. And yeah. Holy shit. The shit talk was world class. We had a lot of fun fucking dumping on one another. That was like half the fun was just fucking roasting each other. And yeah, just the comic knockouts. Like, yeah. Something about that game, you just staggered at the way people somehow managed to knock you out, or like will just walk up, grab you, and then just start headbutting you. It's like so wildly violent and yet hilarious at the same time. Like, if these were UFC characters and there was blood going everywhere, you'd be like, oh Jesus, holy shit. Actually, that reminds me of I've been watching Harley Quinn, the cartoon. Have you watched it? You should watch
not
it.
yet.
Everyone
no, it's on
watch
HBO over here.
You should everyone should watch it. It is fucking phenomenal. Like, hilarious, spectacular. It's got fucking Tony Hale and Katie Quirk, the fucking chick from Big Bang Theory. But don't hold that against it. Quirko, yeah. Who else? Ron Funches, fucking Alan Tudyk, fucking Costanza,
George.
Yeah, George Constantia.
Jason Alexander.
Fucking Jason Alexander. That's it. Yeah. Like, huge cast. Lake Bell. That fucking amazing. Absolutely hilarious. That one, in that, the violence is like fucking Ninja Scroll or some shit. You're like, oh my fucking god. Like, there's fucking blood and gore, and you're like, holy shit, that is. But that goes even further. That wraps past too violent into the arena of being so violent it's actually winds up being funny. But this is like the opposite. This is like so hilariously goofy that it is violent, and yet it doesn't have the impact of violence. Yeah. Anyway, hard recommend.
All right, Party Animals coming soon.
Coming soon.
Somewhere near you.
Yeah.
And you've put Warzone on here as well.
Just wanna fucking, oh man, I like, holy shit, man. They have to be the fucking Mr. McGooingest fucking development studio I've ever seen. They have Bradbury their way into having my favorite fucking battle royale. Like,
more than
if
PUBG.
anyone was doing anything, no, because PUBG Corp was one of those fucking Scandinavian dudes at the front of the fucking race who fell over on the last fucking corner. Said they fell over 6 corners ago. Like that. Over the weekend, Warzone had a bug where people could have infinite fucking tacticals.
Yeah.
And losing some cunt who's sitting in the fucking gas and has been sitting in the gas the entire game, like some absolute fucking loser, is got to be one of the fucking worst fucking experiences of my life.
And probably theirs as well. Like, what are you doing at that stage?
No, I don't think they're capable of self-reflection. These are single-celled fucking organisms. They don't have brains to speak of. They are fucking barely fucking holding on. They're like, oh yeah, I won a fucking game of Warzone. Look at me, yeah, I'm the best. Right? They're not capable of fucking realizing that the only like way that they were able to fucking succeed was by fucking exploiting a failure in the fucking game code. Like, that's not something they're able to do. They'll never look back on these days and go, wow, I was such a fucking loser. They're probably out there right now being like, fuck yeah, I'm the best. Because they're fucking clowns. They're absolute dickwads. And I hate them. But yeah, like, it was such a like we would have had a fucking three-peat. We won a game. We came second in the next one, literally just standing in the zone, jumping about. I had like fucking 4 people watching me. Kleb had like fucking 5. Like, we had fucking huge spectator counts. Like, we played really well. I think we got like fucking 28 or 29 kills in that one. We had like 27 in the next one. And again, some fucking losers standing in the fucking gas, cheating, literally cheating. What rips me up about this is that I didn't get a notification that any of these cunts got banned. And that is a huge problem. Just, if people like, how do you not get it? How do you not get it, Call of Duty? Your popularity is based entirely off the fact that at this point you are the only game in town. If any other high octane fucking like, if any other fucking battle royale was doing vaguely similar things to what you were doing, if PUBG could ever get their shit together, right, I'd go back to it. We know for a fact, and I think we'll talk about this in the news, that they don't have their fucking shit together. But like, if they ever were to get their shit together, I'd go back to that.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, man. Yeah. Just the fucking goofs in that game. The amount of fucking constant fuck ups. And yet I keep playing it because, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm having fun with you guys, and it is a game that seems to work across the pond. And yeah, like, just I enjoy the fucking fragging. I don't want to do fragging in regular multiplayer. Anyway, it annoyed the piss out of me that they were that this bug actually existed in the game, and B, that evidently these people never got fucking banned, even though they did it, and that sucks. That really sucks. So yeah,
anyway. Yeah. I wonder if they're getting through them. Like you'll get a notification soon that says they've been using it. They could be trying to filter through that because they only patched it. I think it was over the weekend. The bug arrived over the weekend, so that could have slowed things down. I think the other thing that would have slowed things down is, and this is just the nature of the way that these games are going to go going forward, and I think that's because of them being multi-platform games. You can't roll out a fix and be like, cool, we're done. You've got to roll out a fix, and it's got to be across all platforms. So you're waiting for you're waiting for certification to be done and people to check that the game isn't like bricking people's consoles and things. Like they could easily roll out an update, and I think that's why I'm a little bit confused as to why it wasn't done as quickly, because they could have. And maybe that's still a thing that they need to roll through cert as opposed to just disabling something in the back end, because we saw those bounty bugs, right? And they just basically disabled the bounties. But I don't know if that was a patch or if that was...
I think it was a patch. I'm pretty sure that was a patch.
Yeah. Okay, so that's still... You got to go through this patch process, right? Of like... Even if they fixed it, it's like, all right, we've now got to get it certified on an Xbox, a PlayStation. We can just push it out on PC, but then you end up with the crossplay issues. And I think that's where all these problems are coming down to. If it was just like, hey, we fixed it, just push it out on PC, like it's fixed. But because they're like doing crossplay, they've got to get it Microsoft approved and PlayStation approved. And it's a weekend. And it costs money to do all that sort of stuff. And I think that's where the slowdown kind of happens. And I think we're going to be seeing more of that as sort of games are in this crossplay thing. Like in this crossplay world now, where it takes a lot longer to get this stuff fixed. And I think it should have been fixed quicker than what it was. I think it was only around for about a day and a half. I didn't see the issue at all when I was playing, but that's just you know, when I was in there, I saw some other stuff going on, but not that particular one. So yeah, I mean, that stuff sucks, and they should be banning those players that are using that, because obviously they're exploiting the game, and that's not something you want people doing. And then and that's the case. Like, it sends a warning to the player or the community saying that, like, if something like that doesn't come up in the future, don't use it. Don't do it, because you'll get banned. The message they're sending out at the moment is doesn't fucking matter, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Shit. Like, I don't know if you saw all those fucking coaches copped in Counter-Strike copped shit because there was like a spectator bug. So they all got fucking like huge discipline from I think it was ESL.
So one dude
abusing ESEA, abusing. Well, yeah, like even then, one guy used it like fucking 200 times or some shit. Like, holy shit.
Yeah,
that's some for life shit. Like, you have deliberately fucking cheated. That's cheating. That's dog shit. Anyway, yeah, it was annoying, but I still we still had some good games. We had some good fights. Prison. I had one game where I'm not 100% sure how helicopters work in this game, but I've been wielding helicopters against other helicopters lately, and it's been working out pretty well. And that's a bit weird,
right? Yeah.
I like just straight up like jousted with another helicopter and just fucking murdered. I actually took out 2 helicopters with one helicopter. It's fucking weird. I don't know how it works. Anyway,
but it's working.
Yeah, but it's working. Yeah. been having some good games, having some bad ones as well. But yeah, it's just annoying that the idea that I have zero faith that they'll ever be banned, even though they actively made the game worse for other people, and Activision doesn't give a shit. It would appear that sucks. Yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
anything else to add?
No.
Cool. Let's get through some of this news then. There's a couple things in here I put down. This is something that we were going to talk, well, that we saw last week sort of unfolding as we were recording, right? And we jotted this down after we finished recording so that we could talk about it now. But anyway, the JB Hi-Fi in Australia was getting a bit of flack for their pre-order situation over there for their next gen consoles. They started sending out notifications to customers saying that you need to have your full payment in to us within 5 days, or you will not receive your console. And on top of that, we're no longer accepting JB Hi-Fi gift cards to pay the remaining balance on those orders. This kicked up a bit of stink. There was obviously people started looking into the validity of being able to, like, I guess, as a company, say, no, we're not accepting gift cards for this specific product because according to their terms of agreement for those, it's not in there. Like, it's you're buying a gift card, and at the end of the day, it's supposed to be just another form of cash. And so a couple of days later, they eventually flipped on that, but I guess that shouldn't have been there in the first place. Like, that's just a weird situation to put yourself in as a company, to be like, oh, by the way, we're not accepting gift cards for that. Yeah. That's just insane.
It's such a weirdly anti-consumer play at its time when what did they have to gain from that? Yeah. Right? Like, apart from an impending lawsuit, what was the fucking play there? That people wouldn't care? That people would be like, oh yeah, fair enough, I guess. Like, of course people are going to use fucking gift cards. Fucking $750 fucking thing. Like, holy shit. Are you fucking out of your fucking mind? Right. Yeah, that was pretty fucking badass.
The reasoning I think this was going on is because you can get gift cards at like a discounted price through various forms. Like in my old job many years ago, they had a system where you could purchase all sorts of stuff, and gift cards were on that list, and you would order them, and you would get a discount. So if I bought $100 gift card, it was like, depending on who it was. So JB Hi-Fi was, I think it was pretty high. It was somewhere between like 8 and 12% off. So if I bought a $100 card, JB Hi-Fi gift card, I'd be saving nearly $8, right? And so, and I did this with my Xbox One X when that came out. I bought it from EB Games, and I used gift cards to pay it off because I was able to buy the gift cards. And so I end up saving like $70 on a brand new console, right? And you imagine doing that with going into JB Hi-Fi and getting 12% off. I don't know what the rate is at the moment, but I guess all these places are very different. But getting like 12% off a brand new console when they're not making any margin on this stuff as it is, right? Those places are not making money off the consoles. They're making money off the other stuff, the peripherals, the games. Like, that's where they're getting their money. That's why they're trying to sell bundles and that sort of thing. And so they're, in fact, I think that's the reason why they were trying to stop those gift cards from happening, because they've just been bitten so hard before in the past. But that's just my theory. And it seems like it didn't work for them, because they would have lost a lot more money if they decided to go ahead with this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, I guess with that in mind, I understand the play, but it can't have ever fucking worked. Right? Like, it was never gonna fucking work. Good lord.
No.
Yeah.
And we talked about the EB emailing people, right? That's not on here. It's not on here. But we just briefly talked about it. Anyway, that's your updated console news. Next up, we've got some PlayStation 5 backwards compatibility stuff. Sony is saying that 99% of PlayStation 4 games will be playable. Currently, there are 10 games that are not playable backwards compatible. Have you read this list? Have you seen the list?
Yeah, I saw the list a couple of times. Was there anything I was missing?
I don't think so. No.
I don't think so.
There's nothing that jumps out at you, unless you're the type of person that wants to play some very below average, I would say, games.
Here we are. DWVR, I don't know what that is. Afro Samurai 2, Revenge of Kuma Volume 1, TT Isle of Man Ride on the Edge 2. Just deal with it. Shadow Complex Remastered, Robinson The Journey, We Sing, Hitman Go Definitive Edition, Shadwen, and Joe's Diner.
Yeah.
I do actually want to play Joe's Diner. Only because I don't know what Joe's Diner is.
4K
but I'm
60.
Extremely interested. Hey?
4K 60?
Yeah, that's the dream. I've now Googled Joe's Diner. And it appears to be a diner.
Yeah.
You walk around a diner? Yeah. Weird. That's pretty weird.
Right.
All right. Cool.
Is We Sing still a thing that happens or not? That's done, I'm guessing.
They're still making singing games. Why? Right. I mean, obviously nobody can go to anyone's house to have a fuck party anymore, but like, why didn't singing games continue to be popular? SingStar was the fucking best. SingStar ruled. Yeah. I don't know.
Anyway, that list is pretty small, which is a good thing, I guess. They're obviously talking about games that have been like updated. Like you'll be able to jump in and they'll take advantage of some of these new things the next system will do. But these ones, I guess, are just like, as far as we know, most games will play backwards compatibility out of the box. Some of them will have enhanced features. Others will just kind of work and run. So, I mean, that's a good thing, is that you'll be able to take your stuff across there. Like I saw the Rock Band team at Harmonix talking about how all of their stuff, all their peripherals, they've been testing them and everything looks good. They're talking about like how the load times are pretty much instantaneous on those games and the libraries will be super smart and quick. So that's, yeah, seems like it's gone well for backwards compatibility and that sort of thing. And that's kind of the thing you want, right? Like I want to be able to play those, have those games somewhere. So if I'm like, one day I want to check out something, I'll be able to just throw it in there and play it. As opposed to just having like a 6-year rotation where once I get rid of my console, then like, oh, that's it. I can't play that anymore. I need to keep the console around or anything like that. Like I can just kind of, I don't need my PlayStation 4 after this, right? I could just kind of just ditch it and that'd be good.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we've got FIFA 21. So I saw this review go up on IGN and I was reading into it because they gave it a 2 out of 10. And it turns out that FIFA on the Switch has been the same game for the last like 2 years. They've basically just been like copy and pasting the entire game and just that is it. And it even says like on the fucking box that this is like no gameplay improvements or nothing like that. And so this was fascinating because IGN was like, well, if they're going to copy and paste the entire game, we're just going to copy and paste our review from last year and we're going to lower the score. And I thought that was very smart of them. I thought it was good. Did you see this at all?
Yeah, I did. It felt very it was pretty interesting because my NBA 2K review was going up on the same day.
Right.
And so it felt like one of those situations where you're like, I talk. Like, I don't know if you've read my 2K21 review, but I talk about the nature of the sports game, the annualized franchise sports game, quite a lot, and the trend of copying that exists, or like mimicry. You know, the formula. I talk about the formula. But yeah, it's obviously a very different situation here. You know, I just felt, I guess in the moment I felt a little nervous. But yeah, this is quite different. I applaud IGN for doing this. Absolutely. I 100% think they made the right choice.
Do you think two's too high though?
Yeah, I am surprised they got a 2 instead of a 1. I don't know what the what I got an extra point for, but yeah, it should have gotten a 1. I think Nate is the only person who ever gotten a 1 on IGN.
Right, he wants to keep it that way
for a sports game. Yeah, like he got it for a sports game as well. But yeah.
All right, fair enough. Moving on, we've got I just want to bring this up quickly. Star Wars Squadrons got a patch last week, which fixes ranking issues. I don't think you were having ranking issues, were you?
I only did one ranking game. So
yeah, I saw a bunch of people talking about this, but looks like they sorted that out. The issue that I was having was the flight stick dead zone problem. They've added in some new options in the game to try and fix that, which seems to have resolved that problem for most people, it seems like.
Yeah.
The other thing is they're talking about there will be some maintenance tomorrow, maybe today by the time people hear this, and they'll be rolling out another patch with fixes. But at this stage, they haven't commented whether or not it's going to fix the frame rate issues, which are still happening on PC and VR. And so for me, that does sound very confident, because if they were fixing it, they probably would have said, hey, it's in the patch tomorrow. But instead, they said, there's a patch tomorrow that'll fix stuff. And that's the biggest thing that's been sort of plaguing that game, and at least the forums or the Reddit and that sort of thing for a while. I've seen some articles starting to pop out now from some gaming websites bringing this up, but I still think it was so weird that this wasn't like something people were noticing when they were reviewing this game. It's just I don't know. It's just strange to me.
Like, yeah, I guess you try to do the more holistic approach to your reviews or whatever, but I like their attitude towards post-launch support has killed my enthusiasm for this game more than anything else. And it's just such a weird fucking approach to take.
Yeah. Like I said last week, it feels like it was part of their agreement to put out a Star Wars game every year, and they were like, all right, it's out. We're good.
Yep.
See you next year.
Which sucks, because it's the best one they've done in fucking yonks. So, like, God damn it. Anyway.
Yeah.
I got it.
Next up, we got Rockstar, the creators of such games as Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption, or Rockstar's Table Tennis.
PS3. Grand Theft Auto 5 on PS4. Grand Theft Auto 5 on PS5.
Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars on the, what was it, PSP? Or was it PS Vita? I can't remember. Yeah.
DS. Chinatown Wars was DS, right? PSP had Liberty City Stories.
Oh. I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure. Mate. What do you want to bet? What do you want to fucking bet?
I feel like I'm going to have it here behind me somewhere. And you're about to get, I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Oh, what is this?
Uh-oh.
That says Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars. And what is this?
I don't know.
That says PlayStation Vita.
Yeah, remember that? Well, shit. You said PSP.
Yeah, one of those things.
Anyway, that was your opportunity to use that. I was like, what do you want to bet? And you didn't say shit. So
I don't need to bet anything. I've already done it all. I've done it.
You haven't eaten spaghetti and Skittles. So.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, Rockstar News. They have acquired the Crackdown developers, Ruffian Games, and they are now known as Rockstar Dundee. Okay. Weird name. They've been working on an unspecified title with Rockstar since last year. Sounds like they're not a big team, around about 30 people, but they've been brought in. They're based in Scotland. So it sort of just reinforces, I guess, their UK sort of region development team. I'm sort of, I don't know if I'm surprised that like Microsoft didn't pick them up or anything like that, because they've obviously made a bunch of Microsoft games.
Yeah.
At the same time, they haven't been really like blow your socks off Microsoft games. They've, Crackdown and Crackdown 2, and even I think I enjoyed Crackdown 2 more than I did 3 by a lot. And maybe that is the reason why. But yeah, it's still interesting that Rockstar's acquiring more talent to work on their games. Any thoughts?
Seems like I thought they already had a lot of people working on their games. So the credits for Red Dead Redemption 2 were about 18 hours long. So it's interesting that they're acquiring more. But I guess porting Grand Theft Auto 5 to another console requires a lot of work. So I guess it makes sense.
Yep.
Do it to it.
And next up, it has been a while since we've done some PUBG bashing over here on this show. And today felt like a good day. So let's do it. PUBG Season 9. New patch notes have been released. They're testing it at the moment. And I guess one of the biggest changes they'll be putting in there is a brand new map, 3x3 squares. And it will be a dynamic map with lava flow from a volcano that will disperse across the map and change the way that you can sort of maneuver the environment every single time. They've also got set towns within the within this 3x3 space that will also dynamically shift across the map each time you play it. So it won't always be in the same spot every time. And I think also the weather effects will change as well. On top of that, they confirmed as well during these patch notes, because we knew a new map was coming. But I guess the big surprise here is that they've announced it's only available in third-person perspective, and that's it. That's all you can play it in. Good move.
This has to be. This is like their admission of defeat, right? Like this is them admitting defeat. They're like, well, yeah, people who play first person have gone to play other things. We already tried to scare them off with fucking bots and whatever the fuck we could, but clearly that didn't work. So fuck it. This map is third person only. Like, I'm sure. I suppose they would have the metrics, right? Is the only thing I can think of. They would have the stats behind the scenes that tell them what people play more, and I guess the percentage must skew towards third person. But I think it's very telling that the competitive version of PUBG is entirely in first person, and yet they are clearly careening towards having a game that plays exclusively in third person. Like they know on a fundamental level what is a competitive version of PUBG, and they have decided that they aren't interested in that. That's what this says to me. I mean, this is just on the test server, right? So it's not like final or whatever, but still, man, holy shit.
Yeah.
It's
I think the other telling thing here is that did you see the skins that they're releasing for this as well?
No, I didn't.
If you can find the patch notes, actually, I'll just send you this link. You can open it up. But basically, a while back, I remember obviously Brendan Green is no longer the creative director on PUBG. He's gone on to other things. But back in the day, and I don't know if this was I think it was an interview that I read talking about microtransactions and skins and how to work in the game, and then wanting to fit the theme of the game and have it military based, and how whenever, like, you're never going to see things that like Fortnite is doing with crazy and over top stuff. And what we're looking at here, and this is something I've been doing for a while, but there's like a lady in a cat suit onesie. I think that says about as much as you need to know about the direction of this game at the moment, right?
Yeah.
Is that they have thrown that mentality out the window and they're just doing whatever at this point. Like, there was that wizard game in there, remember? During like April Fools, where there was like wizard powers and everyone was throwing fireballs or something. It's just like I don't know what's going on there. They just don't. I don't know. I don't know the direction of it. They've just lost it completely. On top of that, I saw this quote going around today, which was at the top of the Reddit page as well, from the creative director at the moment, saying, in relation to the normal mode, which is survival for PUBG, the Battle Royale mode, they're currently looking at, the quote is, for PC and NA, we'll settle on a single perspective eventually based on preference and design direction, which makes it sound like third person will be the thing going forward at some stage. That like they're just going to can first person. Like, if they're at a stage now where they're rolling out brand new maps, which the game does not need, it hasn't needed it for a long time. Like, they've rolled out 7 too many maps at this stage. And if they're rolling out this latest map and they're not putting it in first person perspective, then that's telling you where they're going with this game, hands down.
Brian Corrigan was also on Twitter saying that the plan is to have quick match and ranked diverge in playstyle over time, which I've spoken about a billion times in on this podcast and in many articles, esports related articles. But if you can't reflect the game experience, the general game experience in your competitive game, then you are killing your competitive community. It is just ridiculous. I cannot believe that they're doing this. I mean, it was already dead to me. I was actually really close. If this new map hadn't been third person only, I was actually going to reinstall PUBG.
Of course you would. And then we would have talked about it last week, how you've already uninstalled it. Because again, it's a 3x3 map. It's still not 3x3 because there's edges around it, right? It's not 100 players. It's like 64 players. It's like, that's not the battle royale experience that this game was. Like, PUBG as we know it when it was launched in 17?
17, yeah.
It's not that's not PUBG anymore. Like, this is a different game. The game that Brendan Green created is gone. He left, and he it was slowly disappearing when he was there, but now it's gone. This is something completely someone else's vision, and it's not. I don't think it's a good vision at this stage. They've gone off and done their own thing.
Yeah. Very disappointing. Like, I agree. I probably would have been all like, well, I've already uninstalled it. But with third person only, I'm not even gonna fucking install it in the first place. Then eventually uninstall it. Like, it's just fuck it. Yeah, PUBG's dead to me. Which is a bummer.
I saw some pros like talking about this as well that I've got following, and just even the competitive side not knowing what is going on with that. And just weird things like, they finally fixed like the barrel. Like, why did that take 6 months? That isn't. It's just so. bizarre. What is going on there? Anyway, that game is still slowly dying. It'll I don't know how long it's got left, but it'll be interesting. It sounds like they've killed off a bunch of queues in Australia as well, from what I was reading.
Yeah, it looks that way. Yep.
Yeah. It's only squads at the moment, so no more solos or duos. Yeah, disappointing. I guess there's Warzone you can play, which has got a thriving community. We don't have any problems at all.
No.
Getting games to pop at all hours of the day, generally.
Yeah. Which says a lot, I think. You know?
Yeah.
I think because that game has double the player count. So, yeah, it's interesting.
It just feels like they've given up on trying to compete with Apex and even Fortnite at this stage, and Call of Duty are just like I just don't know what their plan is. It's just such a weird plan. Unless like the thing Brandon Green is doing is like PUBG 2. and these guys are over here killing it for a reason. Like, oh, we'll just kill it so that people really want it, like the sequel. But I don't think that's what he's making. I don't know.
If PUBG 2 comes out and it is Brandon Green at the helm, I'll play it. But I won't allow myself to get attached like I did with PUBG. I won't allow it this time. I've got absolutely zero faith that they can actually like stay on target. They just fucking It'd be like whatever, D&D, the Game of Thrones showrunners, whatever they do next, I'll watch it, but I'm not going to be too invested. I'm sure it'll end like fucking garbage.
Right. Yep. Okay. Next up, we got Baldur's Gate 3 was released in early access last week.
Yes.
This is your story. You want to talk about it a bit more?
Yeah. Basically, there was it was revealed that Baldur's Gate 3 saves will not carry over to the main release.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just staggering to me what a awful like purchase proposition this is. Right? Like, what? Okay, so you're not even buying into, like, at this point, you don't get dick. You get like a fifth of the fucking game from the get go. Like, you don't get the full game. The full game won't be there for fucking ages. It's like a fraction of what you'll eventually be able to play. What you do now is won't carry over at the end of the day. And yeah, like what? Why? Why would you do it then? Why would you get into this? What are you buying in for at this point? Like not all time.
Yeah.
When it actually releases, when the game finally actually comes out, I'm sure it'll be fucking 100% worth it because I think Larian are quite good. But like, I still don't understand the fucking launch strategy with this shit. Like, why launch it? Why launch a story-based CRPG in fucking early access? Why would anyone pay $90 fucking to beta test your fucking storytelling for you? Like, that doesn't make any sense. It's ridiculous. And it's not like they're doing like patches every fucking week and stuff. They're doing hot fixes and stuff, but like other than that, like it's not like you're getting enough content that you could treat it almost like a fucking TV show or something. No, they just don't have fucking all of the game. You're paying $90 for a fucking tenth of it on the promise that eventually they'll fucking do it. That's fucking crazy to me. Fucking wait this shit out. I'm very excited to play Baldur's Gate eventually, but like, yeah, what are they doing? I got asked by some mates about whether or not they should get Baldur's Gate, and I wholeheartedly told them they wanted to play a co-op RPG.
Yeah.
They wanted to relive the Baldur's Gate 2 experience. And I told them, just go get Divinity Original Sin then.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you do it that way? Like, and then in a year, you'll have Baldur's Gate 3 finished. Hopefully good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, from what they've said in like the notes for the game is that they've got 3 acts, and the first act is pretty much in there, but the other 2 are still being worked on. And some other stuff that I've read is that like it's pretty dense in terms of you've got to have existing knowledge of this sort of the way this game works and the mechanics. It doesn't really teach you much about it. I saw some people complaining about that, being like, I've not played a game like this before and I don't know what I'm doing. Like, it just doesn't tell me what's going on. That could be just a wrong interpretation, but that's sort of the things that I've read about it. So I'd recommend people wait for them to finish the story-based game that is there and then play it once it's out. Because it sounds like it's going to take a while still. It sounds like it's a ways off.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ludicrous.
And at the end of the day, like, if you do play it now, even though Act 1 is done, like, you're just going to have to replay it.
Exactly.
When it comes out again. You have to go
to save won't carry over, so...
You know, and will that 8 hours, 9 hours be enough for you, or you will be too tedious, or burn out?
Yeah.
That's hard. Anyway. And the last one I put in here, I just sort of snuck it in as we were talking, because I was thinking about putting it in there, but I left it off, but then I changed my mind. Anyway, just want to have a quick chat about 60 frames per second versus 4K versus ray tracing. I'm not sure if you saw this, but Spider-Man Miles Morales, they've been doing some stuff over at Game Informer the last couple of days, like a hub. It's their cover story for this month, where they've been releasing some extra details about the game and also some videos and that sort of thing. And they have confirmed there are 2 performance modes, or 2 modes in the game. One will be a visual mode, which runs on the PlayStation 5 at 4K 30 frames per second with ray tracing and a few other enhancements. And the other one will be the 60 frames per second mode they've talked about, which won't include those ray tracing changes and that sort of thing. On top of that, we got some Watch Dogs Legion PC specs today. I'll dump you them as well, so you can have, I've got them in the thing.
Yep.
But anyway, this is another sort of interesting thing we can talk about, is that they've sort of laid it in this low, high, ultra settings with ray tracing off, but then also another one that's got like high settings, very high settings, and ultra settings with ray tracing on. And we're sort of getting this divide now of games that are able to run ray tracing effects and what you'll sort of expect out of it performance wise, and then what happens if you turn that stuff on and make it look all pretty, what sort of rig you'll need and that sort of thing. So in saying all that, like, looking at what we've got here, what are you sort of thinking in terms of next gen and playing on consoles, and like, do you want this thing to look insane, or would you rather have the 4K 60 frames per second without the ray tracing stuff in there? Like, what are you leaning towards more? Or is it like a case by case basis?
Yeah, I've never been one to really go in for like, I've never cared all that much about graphics, provided it runs well. I've always been, I suppose, pretty utilitarian about that stuff. I prefer it runs perfectly than looks super pretty. But I think that might hinge off the fact that I've always had a not the greatest computer. I guess had the 780. The PC I had a 780 in it was probably the best PC I've ever had. That thing was a fucking monster. But since then, like, I haven't had a fucking state-of-the-art PC or whatever the fuck. I've had a very good PC. And so I've always been happy to fucking compromise. I would expect brand new consoles to do something pretty showy. So I'll probably trend, in the case of Spider-Man, towards... I'll see how it feels, obviously, but I'll probably trend towards 4K ray tracing, 30 frames a second. Will they do like 1440p ray tracing 60 frames? That'd be nice.
I think that's the thing we're going to start seeing a lot more of is these like sort of PC tinkering that you can do, but like on a console. Like at this stage, we've only really seen the two, like the performance and the visual modes. Like everyone calls them something different, but like you end up with it being 60 frames per second, or you end up with it being 30 frames per second, and just depending on which one you pick, also depends on how visually high fidelity the game is. And so in saying that, yeah, maybe there is a part where you're like, all right, well, I don't want to have it in 4K, but I still want it to be 60. So can I do 1440? Maybe that's the middle ground.
Yeah.
And I guess that's sort of like the nice thing about having a PC, right? Is you can mess around with all those settings. And so like we're looking at, the Watch Dogs Legion breakdown here we've got. If you want to have this thing looking the best you can, have it running on 4K with ray tracing and DLSS on there as well, you're going to need a 3080 RTX card, which
I actually have the computer required outside of the graphics card, which I guess isn't that grand a boast.
Yeah. But even then,
if we could just get the fucking graphics card.
Is that going to be 30 frames per second, or are they saying that's 60? Like this doesn't say that. Like it's going to work, but are you going to get 4K 60? You might be because of DLSS, because that thing is made out of magic.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, but I guess what you're looking at here is the middle ground, right? Is the 1440p. Like, can I have it on 1440 and have it looking sharp? Like maybe that's where you want to go. And yeah, I don't know, it'll be interesting to see, but hopefully that's something.
At 1440 high ray tracing off, because I don't have, I think my graphics card is at least comparable to a 2060 Super, but yeah
I don't generally play games in 4K unless like it's something that's not like a shooter or anything.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess we'll see. They seem to run pretty well for the most part. So anyway, there's some specs coming out. We still don't, we still haven't seen much of the PlayStation, but yeah, it's looking all right.
Oh, Assassin's Creed Valhalla's PC specs just dropped as well.
Oh, right.
No
like
mention.
Just now.
Not the same format. Yeah. Not the same format as the Watch Dogs one.
Yeah, they have too. They've got frame rates on there, which is even handier with the thing we were just talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Ultra 4K at 30, like they're averaging, like Ultra is 30 frames a second.
Yeah. Okay. So it's probably, I'm going to guess that's probably the same for Legion.
Yeah, I would say so too. Now seeing this, yeah.
Cool. Whereas 1440 is 60 frames per second. Like I'm happy with
stats.
That. Yep.
I can't play Valhalla on PC at high. Not with my 1070.
Yeah.
Oh well. Cold.
You can play it on streaming, right? Get some of that. Someone's doing it, right? Some streaming platforms.
Totally. Let's do it that way. Why not?
Yeah. All right. Internet. Anything else? Yep. You put another one on here.
Yeah, a bit of a sad one. It seems like GameSpot AU is shutting down. A lot of people have been let go, made redundant. Ed Tran and Jess McDonald among them. Yeah. Ed's been on this podcast before, back when we did the international special podcasts, where I would make fun of you guys for knowing too much about Dota. And I don't think Jess has been on this podcast, but I've been on a bunch of panels with Jess at PAX and stuff. And obviously I worked with them for years, and we've hung around with them for ages and ages. And yeah, it's a real shame that that it appears to be going away. It's just shitty. It's super shitty. And yeah, I thought they were fucking awesome. Ed was a fantastic editor. He always worked really hard to put up a buffer between me and the global team, who always want to do way too many edits. Always used to drive me bananas. But yeah, he got me to do a couple of reviews earlier this year, and I'm glad I got in while I could. And yeah, I doubt it's one of those situations where, the global editors always say they want pictures from everywhere, and then they almost always accept pictures exclusively from the US, so or from their specific region. So yeah, it seems like we'll see fewer Aussie voices on GameSpot from here on out, even though the Aussie voices tended to be the best and most analytic of the reviews. So that sucks. It's GameSpot's loss, 100%.
Yeah, they've been around for over a decade, I'd say, like pretty close to when I think I got in. I started writing, and so yeah, I always had fun hanging out with those guys. This seems like like you said, really bad decision. It's also not just affecting the Australia, I guess, site, but they've also let go a bunch of other people internationally. It's also affecting places like CNET. We still don't know what's going on with, I guess, Giant Bomb and those guys, because they've basically been bought out by another company. So they're making looks like a bunch of bad changes, and to me, it just seems like changes to save money at the end of the day. Which is so like, I mean, this just seems like decisions that are made by people that don't know what they're doing.
They weren't bought by a media company, that's the thing.
Yeah,
they were owned by a media company in CBS,
mm-hmm.
and they weren't bought by another media company. And so these transitions, they are.
It looks like they're looking at pay grades and being like, all right, where can we save money?
Exactly. Yeah, it's bottom line shit, not actual. Yeah, like intuitive change making.
And you've got a situation where like we're in the middle of this crazy time in the world, and video games are still chugging along, like as big as they've ever been, and yet the jobs are getting less and less.
Yeah.
And so why is that? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, I just think it's corporate greed, right? They're just trying to make more money and pay people less, and just trying to make revenue higher for them. So yeah, it's shit. But those guys are, like you said, very talented. I'm sure they'll find something somewhere. Jess has so much experience and talent from a video background. She could go into video, and I'm sure Ed will find something. He's got a ton of video and editing experience as well. Like they could both easily, I'm not say easily, but they could both find something in video, and they would be, highly regarded in their field. Yeah. And so I don't think they'll have. I mean, I hope they don't have much problem finding it, because it is tough right now. But yeah, I think it's a terrible mistake. They shouldn't be doing this, and it sucks for, like you said, this doesn't just affect those two guys in Australia. Like it affects a lot of freelancers in Australia, because they're the people that are
because Ed and Jess were fucking champions.
Yeah,
freelance in Australia.
Yeah.
So yeah, it really sucks.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Should we do some questions?
Anyway, let's do questions.
Did you write yes? Was that from last week?
No, I wrote it down.
Okay.
Say that there was questions. Okay. Johnny Bravo writes, "Hey gents, had a bit of an epiphany on the weekend. Playing golf, as in outside golf, with 3 old cunts who were doing some pretty B-grade shit talking, but thinking they were next level. I remained silent, just giving a sympathy laugh when they directed it at me, and they reassured me that they were only joking and I shouldn't take it to heart. I informed them that it didn't bother me and I didn't think they were ready for me to return fire. They saw this as a challenge and gave me free rein, so off I went. Sure enough, about half an hour later, one of the old cunts was having a sookie through some hurt feelings. Apparently, I'd gone too far. They certainly wouldn't have lasted a round of PGA Tour 2K21 with us. As gamers, I think our shit talk is a skill that we develop on top of any other coordination and gaming skill that we may have. How do you think we can capitalize on this in the non-gaming world? Do you think I could add A-grade shit talker to my CV? What about a shit talk consultancy business that would offer services to other competitive organizations to give them the mental edge over their opponent? We see social media accounts of Hungry Shacks having a jab at Macca's over Twitter and the world thinking it's a cute, friendly rivalry. Our shit talk consultancy, I think, would force retirement of their social media team. Yeah, I don't know if you saw, Luke, but Heath has been putting up some trash talk compilations from when we've been playing golf, and they're highly entertaining. That's on our Discord, or just subscribe to Heath's YouTube channel. Yeah, very entertaining shit because yeah, we do fucking sit there roasting each other pretty fucking well. That was 90% of golf, like PGA Tour 2K21, and like a good deal of party animals as well was just non-stop shit talk. Yeah, I love that aspect of video games. I think there is a you know, a definite art to keeping it respectful. And
you've got to know when Joab's on the tilt and make sure you don't tilt him too far.
You guys love to fucking push the limits on that one, eh? You always go like as far as you fucking can, don't you? Like, oh yeah, here we go. Oh, Joab's very upset that he didn't hit that putt. Time to fucking stick the fucking boot in. I can't. I'm trying to imagine what Johnny Bravo must have said to these old cunts to have them having a like. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not good enough at golf to be able to do that. Like real life golf.
Yeah. No, see, that's the thing, right? That's what I've learned over the years, right? And you can see it in those videos from Heath. You just shit talk no matter what. You shit talk no matter the quality of your game. And then, like, I think it might happen in one of the videos. Then, when they're like, when they're about to turn on you, you just shit talk yourself. You jump in, give yourself a bit of a roast, and then you're good. Hey, that's a social media account we could fucking help out. We could do Kenny Rogers roasters and just have Kenny Rogers roast everyone.
Right.
That'd be fucking that'd be high quality. Yeah, I don't, like I'm surprised. I'm surprised that people aren't like there used to be so much shit talk when I played soccer. Holy shit. Like loads of it. And because I played in the old cunts league, like all these old dudes, they would be like these guys. Like most of them would want to have a couple of you're a young fella. Why are you playing with the other young guys? You just fucking shit at soccer. And I'll be like, oh yeah, well, you know, maybe I'm shit at soccer, but you're old. And then they'd get really fucking upset about it. Like,
but you're playing with me, aren't you, idiots?
Yeah, like, but you can't keep up. No, it'd be like literally like something real basic. I'd be like just getting started. We're like, oh yeah, but you're old, and they'd be like, oh, go on, go easy, and they'd like fucking stop talking for the rest of the thing. And you're like, I hadn't even like, I was just getting warmed up. This dude's like, he looks like fucking Santa Claus if Santa Claus had mange. Like, oh, there was so much more for me to go with, and well, I got cut off at the fucking start. Like, I don't understand. It's very upsetting.
Yeah.
But no, we should ingratiate ourselves. I've heard that the shit talk in the NBA wasn't world class, but maybe we could teach. You know, they mic them up right? What if we were to put an earpiece in someone, right? Get someone
feed
with an
them,
earpiece
feed them
and
stuff.
just feed them stuff. Yeah, exactly. Just be like, hey, Lance, blow on LeBron's face. That'll be really weird. And he doesn't. Lance Stevenson does it, and it's history.
Yeah.
But yeah, love shit talking. Good times.
Yeah. Maybe I should release
Yeah.
a compilation video of us playing COD.
Oh
I'll
yeah.
just cut it together.
Yep.
Just send it out into the world
Yeah.
and be like, this is what it's like playing games with us.
Oh yeah. 100%.
That's if my shadow play
Except,
ever works.
yeah. It will like capture the video but not the audio, or it will capture my audio but not your audio, or the reverse, or something. I don't know.
I had one yesterday where we were playing, and I think you could see it as well, where the gun like model all freaks out. It's like giant and like, I don't know, it starts to like deform to a point where you can't see your screen because it's just
Looks like a
giant.
gun out of control or something.
Yeah, except it's taking up your entire view. It's obstructing everything, and you're like, what is going on? And every time you use it, it gets bigger and bigger. So I was in a gulag yesterday, and I was trying to shoot a dude, and I was sort of just aiming. Like I couldn't see him, so I was just aiming. I switched to my fist. I could see, and I just threw a knife and hit him. And I was like, okay, that'll do. So I recorded it, and I went back and watched the shadow play, and it's just squiggly lines on the screen. I'm like, yep, that makes sense. That just fair enough. Like, why? Why do you never work? How hard is it to just record what I'm looking at?
Fucking hell.
Anyway. Yep.
Anyway.
More questions.
Good question, JB. Fridge Monster Man writes, hi Luke, hi Joab. Summer is coming and I'm busy making preparations, but I need some advice. Should I apply thermal paste directly to my skin before attaching heat sinks to my body, or is it better to apply the thermal paste to each individual heat sink? And where can I get a bulk order discount on thermal paste? Because I'm gonna need a lot. All right, first of all, you can get cheap thermal paste at JCar, as I found out.
To not encourage anyone to put thermal paste on themselves.
We'll
get a letter one day being sued.
I was not going to encourage thermal paste because the new gangster thing to do for heat conductivity is liquid metal.
Liquid metal.
That's what they're using in the PlayStation 5. They're using liquid metal. Thermal paste is over. Liquid metal is everything. So I heartily recommend switching it up and coating yourself in liquid metal. I don't have. I don't really know a lot about liquid metal. I haven't looked into it a lot because, as I just revealed, I bought my my thermal paste JCar, so my thermal conductivity game isn't at an all-time high. However, I will say that I have seen liquid metal in smelters. So you could probably just coat yourself in liquid metal from a smelter if you were to go down to your local iron forge or blacksmithery. Just coat yourself in some liquid metal from them, and I guarantee you will no longer feel the heat.
Okay.
Any thoughts, Luke?
I'm not contributing anything to this. This is all you.
All right, fine. Good question, Fridge Monster Man. I hope it works out for you. Let us know how it goes. Record it. I would say I would record it. Probably you'll have to put it on Live Leak, I think, but it'll probably go down as internet history gold. Baz writes, so apparently Cyberpunk has not taken advantage of the next-gen hardware yet, but a free update is coming. This game is priced at $69. Next-gen games, even at good old JB Hi-Fi, etc., not EB Retail, are priced at $100 plus. Do you think these are placeholder prices or actual pricing? Thoughts? And how will this affect PC game pricing, if at all? I think this price hike is coming. It's coming. I very, very strongly disagree with the concept of it. I do not think prices for video games should go up. I have seen a lot of people making the argument, that they should go up, that video game prices are too low. This is horseshit. It may apply to indie games, but it does not apply to AAA games, which are already priced well enough that literally every year, every single major publisher makes giant fucking profits, and no year has been quite like 2020. So,
NBA 2K should be a free-to-play game at this stage.
At this point, it absolutely should be. Okay. But like, yeah, there's no fucking way that prices for video games should be going up. AAA video games should not be increasing in price. That's ridiculous. It's not. People are saying, oh, but inflation and blah blah blah. That's not how inflation works. Inflation works for like the market segment itself continues to grow, so there's no fucking way that inflation is impacting the cost of making games. They're just trying to take more money from you while spending the same amount. It is horseshit. Fuck that shit. What they will find, there was a period in time when they tried to do this shit and piracy went through the fucking roof. I do not think PC games will find themselves in a similar situation. Gabe famously said that piracy is just a service issue, a problem with customer service, and that is what will happen. What Steam did was create a situation where players could affordably and easily acquire the games that they wanted, affordably and easier than it was to pirate them. Because obviously piracy has existential costs. In that, it presents risk factors. Once buying a game off Steam was easier than stealing it. Not stealing it, sorry. Piracy isn't stealing. Pirating it. Once that became the truth, then more people bought games on Steam. If they remove the affordability, people will find other ways to acquire games. That is what's going to happen. I don't think the console makers can afford to push games away from consoles and onto PC. So I do not think that they even if they flirt with more expensive games on next gen for a little while, I think we will see them reduce back to $100 flat before the end of the console cycle. That is exactly what happened in this console cycle. RRP video games was fucking 110 at the start of the cycle, and they reverted back to 100 by the end. That will happen again. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is. At the moment here, you do the price conversion. That's why I think, because I think it was 120 or 130 that was sort of saying is the RRP in Australia, and that conversion doesn't work for here. Like 59 is the standard AAA price, and they're going up to 69. And if you do a conversion for that, that is just below $100. So the $59 mark is about 80. Right, and that sort of fits into what we see these days with like $79 games, right, in Australia. So yeah, I don't know where they're getting the 120 from at this stage, which is why I think it's a bit weird. I think it'd definitely be around about the $100 mark, and it might drop, as you're saying, but I think that's just the new norm that we're gonna have to get used to. That, like for AAA games at least, like the big budget AAA games.
I don't think we have to get used to them, I guess is what I'm saying. I think, especially if you go PC gamer, you will always have an alternative.
I mean, maybe
you'll be able to find an alternative.
Unless it's on the Epic Store, then you won't.
If it's on the Epic Store, you can buy it and refund it and just fucking play it anyway. Like, have they fixed that yet? Fucking idiots.
I don't know. You just copy it to a new hard drive. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. Don't tell them.
Classic.
All right. I think, is that all the questions?
That is it. Yes.
Awesome. That's the show. The Gap, you can find us on iTunes, Android, Windows Store, Spotify, YouTube, all the places you get your podcasts from. We should be there. The Gap, GA Podcast, one of those two. Please rate and review the show if you have a moment. It helps other people find it. Greatly appreciate everyone that does that. And if you would like to send us any questions, you can email us, thegapodcast@gmail.com, or go to our Discord page, thegapodcast.com/Discord. We've got a questions tab in there. You can leave us questions like who left us questions? Baz and was it Fridge Monster Man?
JB.
And JB.
Yep.
And or you can just jump into general chat, talk about whatever's going on in the world. We'll play games as well. We jump in there most nights and we're playing something. It's usually sometimes it's Call of Duty, sometimes it's it probably will be Call of Duty this week. New Call of Duty drops tomorrow. So
Black Ops. The beta is on Cold War. It's only the regular multiplayer, hey.
Yeah. I'm alright with that.
It's not Warzone.
Smash some noobs.
Yeah.
So anyway, you can check that out on Discord. You can also find us on social media, facebook.com/thegapodcast, twitter.com/thegapodcast. You can go to our YouTube page, thegapodcast.com/YouTube, watch the video podcast version on there if you'd like to. Or you can go to our website, thegapodcast.com. It's got links to all the things we talked about today on the show, including past episodes. If you want to go check them out, or go check out Joab's Star Wars Squadrons VR review that was wrong. Otherwise...
It wasn't a review. It was
pretty sure it was
stalling.
I checked that it said review on the tag, so I consider a review.
You absolute fuck.
I fixed it for you, by the way.
Thank you.
I changed it to an opinion? No, feature. I think the feature tag was there. It's classic Joab move. Anyway,
it's cool. That is detail. I'm the best.
Yeah, you can go read that, and that's all thanks to our Patreon members who help support the show and the website. They keep things running. If you'd like to do that, you can go to patreon.com/thegapodcast, become a recurring member. And thank you to everyone who does that every month. Greatly appreciated. And I think that is it. Anything you'd like to spruik out that you got going on this week?
Head to OzGamers, check out my NBA 2K21 review. It's quite lengthy. I think it's detailed. I tried to attack it from a specific angle. The angle of someone who plays basketball games every year.
As opposed to soccer games? As a soccer player, I don't know what is going on in this game.
No, right? Why are they picking the ball up? Why is it orange? This is dumb. No, I mean who plays an annual franchise sports game every year. The annual franchise sports game comes out,
right?
But check it out. Have a squiz, and let me know what you think. Did I send you that link to that fucking streamer, that Aussie streamer who's set up a fucking Ponzi scheme in NBA 2K? That shit's wild.
I think I saw that somewhere on Kotaku or something.
Glidey is that Aussie streamer who was the first in the world to reach legend status.
Yeah.
If you watch him play the game, it is just it's just not.
He's not playing.
You just don't play. It's not basketball. Holy shit. Yeah. Anyway. But yeah. Go check that out. Have a read. And I've got some other stuff, but it's on the back burner at the moment.
Yep.
What about you, Luke?
Same with me. Next couple of weeks, I'll be talking about some stuff, but not at the moment. There's some big games coming out, but we'll get to that soon. So you can find me twitter.com/Luke Lawrie, Lawrie. I think that is it for this week. Like I said, next week we'll be back with some Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. And then we'll see. We'll see how we're going. I don't know. Like I said, there's some big games coming out. We got Watch Dogs Legion soon. All the new console games, Valhalla, Cyberpunk. And we're getting emails about that stuff. So hopefully...
Disc Room.
Hopefully we can talk about stuff soon. Disc Room? I don't know what that is.
Next week.
Okay, Disc Room.
Yeah.
Not Disc World?
Not Disc World, no. Yeah.
All right. And that is it. Thanks, you all.